Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah!
We've worked damn hard to get to this point, and we should enjoy it. Friday.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Of week 5.
Yes.
Of the
Five?
Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
5?
Is this
Yes.
our 4th full week or 5th full week?
Fourth full week. Last
Fourth
week was
full
4
week.
days.
We're going
so-
into week 5 next week.
Yeah.
Regardless, welcome to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Jason
Happy
looks so
Friday.
short right now. Look at him. He looks very short on TV.
Jason Lloyd is our guest on today's show. He's sitting in the king's chair. Your arms are shaking already. Your arms are shaking.
Yeah.
I'm Jay Crawford. Coming up on today's Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, there may be lit cigarettes eaten on today's show. There may be beer bottles opened with someone's eye socket on
Yes.
today's show. If you haven't figured it out by now, Super Joe Charbonneau joins us in studio in the second hour.
I'm G. Bush. Mike Florio is full of crap. We'll talk about it later.
Well, I'm Jason Lloyd, and there's one thing that came out about Deshaun Watson this week that I'm concerned about that I think could shut this whole thing down. We're treading toward a very dangerous line, and I'll tell you what it is coming up.
Ooh.
And I'm Brad Sellers, and I got to commend LeBron James because LeBron James gets the memo, baby. Yes, he does. So we'll talk about it.
And I'm former California Bears manager Morris Buttermaker. And let me tell you something. The Guardians are on fire. Over 500 for the first time in a month. And Jose Ramirez is doing something that is unbelievable. We'll get to that
They're
later.
beating the hell out of bad teams,
Yes,
but
yeah,
you
that's
got to
true.
do that if you want to be competitive. Mikey McNuggets.
We are 46 subscribers away from 7,000 on YouTube. So if we get to 7,000 by the end of the show,
Okay.
7,000 is a big number, guys.
I think we should do a contest. I think Bull should go to the subscriber number 7,000's home.
Yeah.
And for their birthday or bar mitzvah or whatever, do a magic act.
Done.
Done?
Okay.
Done. You'll do that, Bull.
I will.
Okay,
I don't
let's-
know any magic, but, I'll
We
show
just got a
up.
subscriber. We are 45 away.
Uh-oh.
So
The clock. Bull,
pressure's on.
Bull, the clock is ticking.
As long as you're providing me with free food, I'm in.
Yeah.
The magic act is making the food disappear.
That's a good deal.
I just want to
have
see you in
few
a top
magic
hat.
tricks I can
Yeah,
do.
I want to see you in a top hat and like tails.
Definitely. I'm
At
all
a,
in.
at a kid's birthday party,
I'll
and
take
one of
my-
them comes up and kicks him in the shin and said, "That show sucked."
I'm throwing that kid over a fence. He kicks me in the shin. Don't mess around.
All right. We
By
have
the
to
way, real
start
quick,
today.
I was
Yeah, go
working
ahead.
this was my work week at Little League. I'm going to talk a little more about Little League later. But I was working the concession stand, okay, helping out.
Right.
And with a couple of kids, they were like, "Can I have the Skittles? Can I have this? Whatever." I'm like, "All right, I'm going to throw it to you. If you drop it, I keep your money. You don't get the candy. If you catch it, then you
Is
get
this
it."
league
Fine.
approved?
No, it's not league approved.
I didn't
but I
think
did
so.
it. But every kid caught it. I didn't have to steal
Well, they
anybody.
better. I mean, they're baseball
I should
players.
hope so.
Shout out to you, by the way, man. I
do everything.
did not know. I don't know when I'm busting into the secret here.
Yeah.
I did not know your kid had a swing like that.
Oh, that was not my kid.
Well, I mean, he's on your team.
No.
Nope.
That was the other team.
No, I was just doing the PA announcer for that
Oh,
game.
okay, well.
Sorry, didn't mean to mislead
No,
you.
well,
False shout
If
out.
when my kid hits a home run like that, I'm going to be very excited.
I
Yeah.
People lead the show.
I was
Yeah,
like, Bull's kind of
My kid hits a jack to left field like that.
Yeah.
That kid is actually the son of one of the Rocky River football coaches.
Yeah,
And he
kid's got
posted that
athletic
video on
lineage.
Twitter. We'll play it later.
There's
We'll
no
play it
doubt.
later.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no doubt.
All right,
Yeah.
wait a minute. I can't stop seeing how short I am. Why did you put me next to the
I
angle?
know, listen.
Is this chair smaller than
I
the
know.
others?
It is because I look much taller than you, and I'm certainly not.
I gotta like sit like.
Well, remember when
Here, we-
Aditi was
we'll get
in
to some
studio?
books during
Aditi
the
looked
break,
like a
Jason.
third
We
grader
got
sitting in that chair next to Brad.
You give me the smallest chair and you put me next to the biggest guy.
I'm sorry, there are books back here if you'd
somebody-
like to sit on books.
Somebody get this man a high chair.
You know, Brad's not. He's only tall in the legs. From the waist up, he's not that big.
I'm not big anywhere. 5'9".
Jay, I got to commend
He's all legs.
Bull's coaching and working concession
Well,
stand.
at
right.
1 week a season, the
Yeah.
coaches have to rotate.
And I'm getting the
but
field
here-
ready before the game. I'm
and
there
doing-
at
and doing the
4:30
field,
and doing the
Hey,
field.
later in the show, you'll
Yeah.
see he's doing play-by-play.
Well, not
from the press
play-by-play,
box,
but yeah.
when warranted.
A little bit.
When warranted.
Yeah, right.
And way late, I might add, but it was there.
Mike trimmed it up.
All right, let's start today's show with Mike Florio. Mike yesterday did an 11-minute interview with Channel 3's Jim Donovan, And he had a lot to say on the Deshaun Watson saga and where it's going and what could possibly be coming from the NFL. Let's go ahead. We've pulled 4 different clips from this, and we're going to discuss each of these clips afterwards. But Mike, go ahead, give us the first one, and we'll discuss on the backside. Listen.
So where we stand now, I think the NFL has a big decision to make, obviously. But the threshold question is, do we proceed with some sort of discipline against Deshaun Watson, not knowing what else may happen after we commence that process, or do we just put him on paid leave? I know the commissioner took the possibility of paid leave off the table in March, but the circumstances have changed since the commissioner said that. And I'm starting to think the best way for the league to handle this, and maybe the best interest of Deshaun Watson, definitely not the Browns, but the best interest of Deshaun Watson could be for him to step away and focus on getting these 24 cases resolved so everyone knows what the final outcome is, and then the Browns, the league, and Watson can move forward whenever that may be.
Jay, this is absurd. I don't know what the hell Florio's talking about.
Right.
He is completely. First of all, I don't love Florio. I'm going to be honest before I give my criticism. Part of it's because I feel like I'm similar to him in a way. He has obviously a lot of connections with the league that I do not have. But I'm similar to him in when I talk, it sounds like when I give my opinion, I state it as a fact sometimes, even though I know it's an opinion. And he does the same thing.
Yeah.
So when he does it, it irritates me. When I do it, it's brilliant. But let me tell you something. Why would it be beneficial for Deshaun Watson to be on the commissioner's exempt list? That makes he's getting paid to not play. Okay, it's better than being suspended and not getting paid. But that's stupid. Deshaun Watson doesn't want that. Nobody wants that. It makes no sense. The league has been investigating for a while. They have 2 options. 3 options. Suspend him, not suspend him, or wait to suspend him. They cannot put him on the commissioner's exempt list, in my opinion. The commissioner could change his mind, said he wouldn't do it. I think that's completely ridiculous, and it's idiotic to say Deshaun Watson would want that.
Jason, that was off the table, we thought. But to Florio's point, we have more information now than we did when that statement was made. Is it possible, in your view, that the commissioner not just could backtrack, but to Florio's point, should? Should we get to this point?
We have more information. It's unclear if the league has more information, if the Browns have more information. Is it feasible that something came out in the New York Times article that they didn't know? Yeah, I think that's probably pretty feasible. But we don't know. We don't know what they knew. Everyone has been real cloak and dagger with this. So it's hard to say that there's new information that's emerged. To us, there is, yeah. But
they may have already known about it.
They may have already known about it. We don't know. Roger Goodell made it very clear at the owners' meetings. The commissioner's exempt list is off the table as long as the criminal component is gone. And when he got the no bill on the 2 grand juries and there was no indictment coming, that left. That's not coming back unless criminal charges.
Future indictments are possible, but
sure.
We can't say whether that's likely or not.
Yeah, so I don't think he's going on the commissioner's exempt list. And frankly, I could be way off on this. This is just my opinion. I don't think he's going to be suspended for a full year because he's not on the commissioner's exempt list. If they were going to suspend him for a full year, then you just put him on the exempt list. And the fact, and maybe I'm connecting dots that I shouldn't be connecting, but the fact that Roger was so emphatic that the commissioner's exempt list is not an option as long as there's no indictment and criminal charges coming, I don't think it's going to be a year.
Right.
Now, I think I'm becoming in the minority on that. A lot of people seem to think it's going to be a year, maybe 2 years, or whatever. I've heard some wild numbers thrown out.
Yeah. Right.
I still think it's going to be less than a year.
Okay, so before you start, there are 4 clips, and we go down that road with some of these future clips, but let's try to keep the discussion to this clip. The commission, or what Florio just said the commissioner should do. For that or against it?
Well, I'm against what Florio's talking about because there's a process playing out here, and I know that everybody has an opinion. Everybody wants to see things happen today, right? I agree with Jason. As long as there seems to be no criminal component here, it puts the league in a box here, right? There's some parameters here, right? So I don't think you can level the boom here. Now, something may come out later. We don't know. This is how the system is supposed to work, Jay.
Right.
Right? The problem is people want their thing now, right? And it now may be months later, right? And so,
well, we're already, to be clear, now wouldn't be as if we've just learned of it and now here's the ruling. I don't think anybody, whatever is coming, no one's going to say, wow, that was swift.
Well,
This has been ongoing for a
but here,
long time.
So let's
Brad.
say I'll make up a number. There's a 4 or 5 game suspension, right?
Right.
Then you find something egregious really occurred here, right? So what do you do now? You got to come back at it again, or should you just wait it out until you figure out you have a good assessment of the facts?
Something could come out 3 years later.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't wait
Right.
forever.
How would the league? They've done 18 months of investigation. If there was something egregious, they should know about it, right?
This is how the system works. People don't like it, but this is how the system works, right? And at that point, that's when you render your decision. You don't render your decision 25%.
So no on the commissioner's exempt list
I don't
for
think
now.
here we're not in a position to say, right? But I will tell you, as a person that's involved in the system, the one thing that's troubling to me, there's a no bill out of Texas.
Yeah, 2 of them.
2 of them. It's a problem.
Yeah,
right?
Bush?
I'm gonna stick to this topic at hand. Florio, to me, he comes off as a person like, what are you talking about? Did you just make that up? You got a set of rules, you got a set of parameters, you have a due process, and he comes on. Well, I think it's just time that we just move on and make sure he can. It's better for Watson to be on the exemplar. What are you talking about, bro? First of all, I'm not even gonna go to the fact that there's 2 no convictions in terms of the grand jury. We all get that information, but
No charges.
No charges.
No
My
bills.
problem with this
No bills.
situation is this, man. Nobody came out and told us that we had to hurry up and have a verdict today, tomorrow, or any time in 2022. No, we made that up in our mind because we don't have the patience to sit here and say, well, you know what? Let's go ahead and see what the civil trial uncovers. No, we gotta get in front of stuff. Anytime people talk about getting in front of stuff, that means you ain't trying to get to the truth. Getting in front of something is a cover. Not actually getting down to the facts and learning what's coming out. This get in front of stuff is the new American slang where I'm going to just go ahead and do that. I'm going to act like I care. I'm going to act like
So
I'm
what's your timetable? Like, when should justice be?
There is a deadline here.
Yeah,
Like, the
something
season started in September.
Yeah.
So if he doesn't get suspended in 2022, his suspension could come in 2023.
I'm just telling you, as of a week ago, 2 weeks ago, before the New York Times article and Rusty Harden putting his foot in his mouth last week,
Right.
before some of that other stuff, the Browns were fully expecting to have a decision made by the start of training camp.
Wait, do you think that that's changed because of this new
I
information?
have
or not?
no reason to believe that has
Right.
changed. I can only go off what I know.
My concern about that, Jason, was I said if the league is truly going to be thorough in this, and we now have 23, 24, and this 66 number, which, by the way, there's nothing criminal about having 66 different masseuses in 17 months.
No, but it's alarming.
It's alarming, but there's nothing criminal
the
there.
justice system with the football system.
No, the problem.
Well, the calendar is the calendar.
The
to Jason's
problem
point.
that you're involved in, that you're all talking about here, is that you have the due process piece here, and then people's own desires.
Yes.
The Browns want this. The league wants that.
Actually, the Browns want something now, too,
here,
don't they, Jason?
Yes.
But here.
They want it now.
But it does not align with the due process. The women that are involved, they want something too.
Well, but their outlet is the civil.
But the league doesn't have
the
to
women
wait
aren't
for the
affected
court
at all by
cases.
what the
They
league
don't have
does.
to.
So
the women aren't affected at all by what decision the league
Yes,
makes.
they want their adjudication.
They want their justice, and they're
their
going to get it in the
separate
civil
things.
They want
process.
their adjudication and justice, right?
And that's coming.
And I think the Browns want their adjudication and justice.
Right.
The NFL wants their adjudication
But
and
the
justice.
calendars don't align.
But the calendars do not align.
Right.
Let's not act like this just came out. They've had a year and a half.
And that's my point.
Are we gonna?
They've had
So
a year
what are
and
you
a half.
saying? Hold on, what are you saying? Hold on, a year and a half? There's a time limit on this thing?
But Brad, the truth is,
A year and a half is not
justice-
6
Guys,
weeks.
wait a
Our
second.
justice system
the
says
system-
quick
Wait
and
a second.
speak.
Wait a second.
the
We
system-
may not learn anything in these civil cases that the NFL doesn't already know. I mean,
No.
that's entirely possible.
Let me tell you something.
They have all the
Let me tell
information.
you something.
Yeah.
The system takes what it takes. The time takes what it takes.
Right, but the
That's what
league
it
doesn't
does.
have to wait for the court system.
No,
One
yeah.
has nothing to do with the other,
It's-
ultimately.
No, because you're here because
Yeah.
you can impugn somebody.
Yes.
Being premature. Yes, you can.
Agreed. I'm not saying it's right. That
But
they
you'll
do
feel
it.
better
I'm
about
saying it-
you'll feel better
no,
about yourself.
Deshaun, I would think. I don't want to speak for Deshaun. I know the Browns want something soon.
We
I would
all
think
want
Deshaun
something.
wants something
Yeah.
soon too.
I don't think there's a Browns fan out here that don't want something.
No, I'm not talking about the fans. I'm talking about Deshaun and the Browns.
Yeah.
They're sitting there with sweat in their palms saying, what is the league
'Cause
going
they're
to
in
do?
the-
They want some finality.
Here, they're in the here. They wanted that in Houston, right? Yes,
Well, that
they
was a
did.
little
He wasn't
soon
going
to
to
get
play
it
there.
Houston.
He
They
wasn't going
wanted
to play
in
there.
Houston.
Yeah, Houston. He wasn't playing for
You think
Houston.
Deshaun Watson, his desire to have it behind him is any different now than it was a year ago?
He wasn't going to play last year.
Do you think his
And that had nothing to do with this.
Do you think any of his desire to have this behind him
Yes.
is any different
Yes,
now
absolutely.
than it was? No, absolutely. If you were in the midst of
But
it,
a year ago-
And he wasn't going to play a year ago.
Right.
We
And the
keep
investigation had just started a year
we
ago.
keep
It's been-
see, this is
That-
the
that
problem.
you
We
talking
keep
apples and
bringing
oranges.
it back to playing. This is somebody's life. You talking about? I gotta admit to all these cases and people talking
Nobody's
about
saying
football.
that.
Okay, no, he
Nobody's saying
doesn't.
he should admit to anything.
But I'm saying you saying, but he wants to play.
It ain't got nothing to do with
It ain't got
playing.
nothing to do with playing.
Ask Deshaun if it does.
Real quick, I know we have other clips to move on to. You lose the thing that loses me on he wants to clear his name and he denies doing all wrong is when Rusty Harden goes on the Between the Lines podcast by attorney Gabe Feldman before he did when I was on with 92.3 the week before that. He goes on and says basically the Dolphins were ready to trade for him. Deshaun wanted to go there. The owner, Stephen Ross, said clean all these up and get rid of them.
Right.
And they were more than happy to do that. They
Yeah.
were more than happy to clean these up and get rid of them.
wants to play.
And it broke down.
Oh, yeah, there's no
so
question. He's a player.
let's just retire the fact that Deshaun is adamant on clearing his name. He's not. He's more than willing to settle these suits if the parameters align.
Hold up, let me ask you a question. Does paying lawsuits mean you clearing your name? Is that the equivalent?
Well, you're saying that he wants to hit his day in court and clear his name.
But I'm just saying, even if he pays, it doesn't clear his name.
Jason, I don't think
No.
he's saying.
No.
I think he's saying he wants it behind him.
Yes,
right?
that's
He
what
wants
Jay, I think that's.
He wants to amble over his head to be gone.
Let's
right?
play
play
the
the
second
next
clip.
clip.
Let's
Yeah.
play the second clip. This is Florio with Jim Donovan yesterday.
I don't know if it's ever going to be gone, but
The moment that the trade happened, I began to advocate, and I've been advocating since March of 2021, that these cases should be resolved. Not in the way that you write a check and make it go away, but you have a reckoning. You understand what you did to cause these cases to be filed. The people who filed the cases end up, as the process concludes, believing that they've achieved some sort of justice. And then you move on. You deal with it properly and you move on. They could have done it in April of 2021. It fell apart over whether or not the amount of the settlements and the associated facts would be treated as confidential. Deshaun Watson's camp wanted it all to be out in the public. I think they wanted to be able to do a victory lap on how little they paid to end the cases. Then as of last year, late last year, during the season, it was $100,000 per plaintiff to resolve the cases so he could be traded to the Dolphins. When he was traded to the Browns, I said, and this was something reflecting what I think Browns fans should want. You want to avoid this burden of being a fan of a team whose starting quarterback has all of this uncertainty and all of these cases pending. And for some fans, you naturally end up in a position where you find yourself defending him, fighting back, pushing against any of these developments because he's our quarterback. The fans should not be in this position. Deshaun Watson put them in that position, and the Browns did as well, but Watson could have and should have settled the cases as his first order of business when he became a member of the Browns.
Jason, what do you think of that?
I think it goes back to what we were just talking about. Like, he's more than willing to settle. And that's been proven a couple of times now. And, you know, I think maybe Rusty got a little bit too cute with the NDAs and where saying, like, they didn't want any NDAs. They wanted everyone to see how little money they got, the women got. And Busby was pushing. And Rusty did tell me that, too, that, you know, Busby pushed back on the NDAs because he was probably embarrassed by how little the money was. Well, okay, now I think we're getting into sort of a measuring contest here. Just settle. You know, and NDAs are important.
Doesn't that have something to do with perception, though?
Oh, for sure it does. Yeah.
This whole thing is about perception.
No, but I mean specifically the amount.
But I
$100,000 per plaintiff.
That's nothing.
That's
nothing.
That's
That's
nothing
nothing.
for
That's
Deshaun
nothing.
Watson.
And
I
think
think they're
about-
probably thinking more $1 million per plaintiff.
So if it really was 100,000, think about they lost. I mean, it's going to be more than that now. It's been a bad week. Like, can we all agree it's
It
been
has
a
been a
bad
bad
week
week.
for Deshaun?
So the one thing I agree with is this, right? There was a window. I don't know if it still exists, but it still exists. There's a window for settlement here, right?
Of course there is.
There always has been.
And there's a window for settlement, and it's not going to be $100,000.
Not anymore.
It's not going to be $100,000.
Nope.
And see, I said this last week. I said this the other day, Jay. In that contract that the Browns gave, right? There's a sum. I'm assuming that's involved in there that allows you to settle, right?
Right.
You're not
well,
going to make
230 or 40, whatever
What's
the number
the
is.
upside?
You're not going to make all that to you. That's not all coming
Guys,
to you.
except for maybe if he wins completely in court and doesn't have to pay that money. There's really not much upside for Deshaun Watson.
Well, I
hold
disagree
on, let me just
with
make my point. The people out there that think he's totally guilty will not change their mind even if he wins in court.
No, but listen, a not guilty verdict is the system saying we did what we were supposed to do and there was no wrongdoing. And I think in that scenario, Bull, to your point, G. Bush, that's where he fully gets his name back. In my view, I could be wrong.
He'll
That's
never
just my
fully
opinion.
get his name back because there will be people that won't believe
There
it
will
no matter
be,
what.
but I also think that
Yeah.
just like when OJ was not convicted of murder,
Right.
there were people that to this day will tell you they would bet everything in their possession
Yes.
that he did it.
Right.
Yep.
There are still also people that will bet everything that they have that say, nope, he didn't do it. The justice system said he didn't do
I
it.
think people have picked their sides, okay, when the reality, like most things, as I believe in this situation, without knowing anything more than you guys know,
Right.
is the reality of the situation is probably somewhere in the gray area, and in this situation, that's quite confusing, and people can't wrap their head around the gray area. How's there a gray area in this
Right.
situation? I think there is.
think
It's
there's
very
huge gray
complicated. That's where I think this lands, and ultimately, there's people in that gray area in all walks of life
Always will
that are
be.
still keeping their job.
But you would agree this,
Yeah.
that if he took all 24 cases to civil trial
Yes.
and won all 24, that's a W for Deshaun Watson.
It is, but ultimately, like, even if he gets the loss, even if he settles and people look at it as a loss,
Yeah, you can win and still lose.
he's going to still play.
Yes.
He's going to
At some
play.
point.
His life's going to get on. People will make snide comments like they did about Roethlisberger
Sure.
and Trump and everybody. And,
That's
and
gonna
Clinton
follow
and
him
everybody
forever.
else.
Yep, that's-
It doesn't. But meanwhile, he's going to play.
Yeah.
For the people who are up in arms, I saw, what's that knucklehead who does local radio? Greg Brinda? Is that his name? Greg Brinda. He tweeted at me because I said something about Deshaun Watson. He's like, you got the wrong priorities. We got to get it. What do you want me to do? We got bad, if he's a bad guy. I don't know if he's a bad guy or not. But if he's a bad guy, there's bad guys everywhere. They don't all lose their jobs. If the league decided, if they found out he did all these things and they kicked him out of the league, so be it. But if he's allowed to play, I'm not going to apologize for him being on the
Florio
ground.
said something that was interesting, and I think it was in the first clip,
Yeah.
that by not taking care of this early, it's put all Browns fans in a position to almost like defend.
That's true.
And I will tell you that I've heard from a lot of Browns fans, the thing that they're most disappointed about is that point exactly. They now feel like they have to defend Deshaun Watson.
Let's be
He's
clear.
got to defend himself. I mean,
No, he does, but
Yeah.
Browns, I mean, Steelers fans were defending Ben.
Yes.
And now that this is happening to one of ours, we have to,
Right.
some feel the need to defend him.
Let me just be clear about this. We all on Twitter, right? We got Twitter accounts.
yeah.
Elon Musk has a sexual harassment case. Is we getting off Twitter? Disconnect your Twitter then. If this is, how do you defend that? You buy. I see Teslas all
Right,
around
it's
the road.
stupid.
You don't have to be a fan of Twitter. No, who's a fan of Twitter? We all use it.
You buy a car because you are a fan of cars.
But
you like the car.
Okay, but you like those Nike shoes you wear?
Yes, I do.
Do you like child labor?
Well, no.
Then take off the Nikes.
Well, here's what we're going to, that's what my point I'm making.
Right.
We make decisions every day based on
But-
immediate personal
Yes.
gratification.
You're right
I
about
agree
that.
with you. And I agree, but here's the thing. If some fan says, I don't want to root for the Browns
That's
because
cool.
of Deshaun Watson, that's your
That's
business,
fine.
fine. But don't tell me I have to stop rooting for
Yeah,
him.
you should be offended by that.
Right. No.
For
So
what?
anybody that says that, do what you want for yourself.
let me tell
you
you
don't want to
something.
root for the Browns,
Let me-
fine.
Let me tell you, something. Every fan is sitting here in a very squeamish position
Yes.
today, but not that they wanted to be here. Right?
You're right about that.
So I will tell you this, right?
You're right about that.
So Harden should be calling Busby, right?
Settle
Because
it.
this is not going anywhere, right?
Right.
You're just dragging out the inevitable.
Yes.
And sometimes even when you win, you lose, right?
Well, I don't think there's going to be a winner in this no matter what.
No, I'm to your
Yeah,
point.
you're
when
right.
You win the case, but you lost it.
Sure.
Right? You can
Right.
do that.
Here's what I
Both
do.
Both things can happen.
I'm gonna tell you what I do. I go in. I say, look, I'm going to settle these cases. I go to the NFL. I'm gonna settle these cases. I'll take 6 to 8. I'm gonna appeal.
I've been saying all
But
along
hold on.
6 to 8. That's what
But
it should be.
if you come anywhere near a year, I will drag the Texans, the Browns, and the NFL through the gates.
I would bet that
And
the
they go-
NFL would agree to give him, we've talked about that, a shorter suspension if he settles.
You be careful of that because there's a saying out here in my world. The same thing to make you laugh or make you cry.
Yeah,
right?
isn't that true?
All right.
That's very
Hey, by
true.
the way,
you be careful out there with that train of thought. You
ask
think it right
Kaepernick
there.
about that. We know people go away.
All right, let's get to the next Florio bite. Here he's talking about the potential length of this upcoming suspension. Is that what we're running now?
No, next one is, could the Browns fans potentially regret this trade?
Oh, okay, yeah. Go ahead, run this.
I think that that there already is plenty of regret within the Browns organization. They wouldn't admit it, but I suspect if they could go back and do it again, maybe they would pass on trading for Deshaun Watson. I just feel like the 4 teams that pursued him got so caught up in that competitive aspect of being the team that gets Deshaun Watson. There were a lot of things that weren't really considered as carefully as they could be about how the world will unfold after this trade happens. And yeah, look, if he misses all of this year and most or all of next year and gets paid most of his money, I don't know how you feel good about that trade, unless when he comes back, they are appearing in and potentially winning Super Bowls. And I think that's what the Browns are banking on. Whenever he does play, he makes them a Super Bowl contender, and that will make everyone forget everything that happened.
Yeah, this
Guys,
is the all or nothing.
Florio's talking. Yeah, go ahead. Florio's talking out his ass. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Bush, go ahead.
He's escalated. He's good. He's great at his job.
Oh,
I
he
give him
is.
that.
Yeah,
He's escalated it all next year.
Yeah.
Half of the next year
saw
on
that.
top of that. You got to think about it, fans. I'll tell you what. Let's come from this perspective. We've been garbage for 70 years. You know how many people that died waiting on the Browns to be good? A lot of them just in this last year. And this is I'm not trying to be hyperbolic here. The reality is the Cleveland Browns make that trade, and every fan takes it every day and twice on Sunday, because guess what? You talk about us anyway. You laugh at us about the Baker stuff. You clown us about OBJ. You say we dumpster fires, the mistake on the leg. So don't come here trying to console me. Talk about, you should feel bad about this. No, I don't. Because now you actually got somebody to worry about. You got a quarterback and we got a person. Even if he's gone next year, guess what? You got to still deal with us in 2023. Nobody cares. You're not talking us off the train. We got a squad. And guess what? If you don't have a top 10 quarterback, you're not winning anyway, Florio.
Yeah, right. G. Bush is 100% correct. There's no way the Browns are regretting this trade. Almost nothing has changed. This idea that they didn't know about the 24th person, who cares? That doesn't matter. By the way, how is Deshaun, I've heard people say, well, maybe Deshaun didn't tell them about this person. Well, if he didn't do anything, well, how would he know about this person to tell them about it?
Sure.
So I can't blame him for that. It's absurd. He's a great quarterback. The only way this trade is bad is when he plays football, if he's not the quarterback somehow we thought he was, and he plays crappy football.
Right.
Then it's a bad trade. Or if he got kicked out of the league, okay, it's permanently. That's a bad trade.
If he's caught dogfighting like Mike Vick.
Whatever. But even if he's suspended for a whole year, I would not take that trade back at all.
Okay, but you're saying the only way it's a bad trade is if he doesn't play.
If he just sucks on the field or he's kicked out of the league.
I'll go even further. If the Browns don't win a Super Bowl,
Yeah.
this is an awful trade. Awful.
I don't agree with that. If they
Look what they gave up. Look what they're paying him.
But they
And
wouldn't
look
have won a Super Bowl
and
anyway.
look what the team and the fan base is going through right now.
That's temporary.
If they win a Super Bowl, it's temporary.
If they get there, he's the person that got him the closest.
No. Getting there does nothing for this fan base.
But getting there does nothing. But
I don't want to go and lose.
But the play,
it's a loser's mentality.
But he talks about the playoff game for Baker.
I know.
Listen. That's not the ultimate. The goal isn't to ultimately make the playoffs and play a good game. We want a Super Bowl win.
Agreed. But
Period.
if he plays, let's say he plays for the Browns for 6 years,
Yeah.
and he plays great football, and he's a Pro Bowl player for 6 years, and they go to a Super Bowl and lose, and they make 2 other AFC championship games.
Not what I
I'm not going
want.
to say it's a bad trade.
Jason, is it a bad trade if they don't win a
One playoff
Super
game
Bowl?
in 6 years? Okay, I'll say it's a bad trade.
No, this team hasn't been to a Super Bowl in the existence
Ever.
of the Super Bowl.
We haven't played in a Super
So
Bowl.
I can't put that as the bar that they have to win a Super Bowl or it's a terrible trade.
So if they go, this is a win. If they make a Super Bowl.
Yeah, I mean, if
Is
they
that
make
your line?
If they make the AFC Championship game, it's something they haven't done in 30 years.
Wow.
I'll take that.
Man.
It's so hard to win
This
a
is
Super
billed
Bowl.
as the missing piece.
And he is, but that doesn't guarantee anything. I mean,
The AFC's so tough, there's no way you can guarantee
there's
a Super
7.
Bowl.
There's in my mind, there's 7 elite quarterbacks. That doesn't include Derek Carr, who's pretty close to elite as far as I'm concerned, and that doesn't include the Titans and the Steelers. There's 10 teams.
Yeah.
There's no guarantee they even make the playoffs with this guy, and he is the missing piece. And I don't think the Browns regret the trade because I've talked to enough people in the organization all throughout who felt like Baker was not it, and they had to upgrade,
right.
and Baker's arm wasn't good enough, and it just wasn't there.
So even with all this, knowing what they know, they would do the trade tomorrow if it wasn't currently done.
I think they would do it, yes. But I've also said, and I've had people agree with me, if he's out for an entire year, This is a disaster.
Oh, there's no question.
And
I don't agree with that at all.
Oh, it's a disaster. Because of what they gave up. Because of the contract.
The only argument you could make is if he's out for a year that they probably could have gotten him for a little less. But ultimately, when he comes back, if he plays the way you expect, there's no way you're going to say.
Well,
you're telling me
that's a leap of faith, because when he comes back, he would be
2 years out.
2 years removed,
Don't
almost
matter.
3
He's
full
young.
years.
He's 26. Michael Vick, who is not close to the quarterback that Deshaun Watson is, came back at 30-something and was still really good his first year
We're
back.
just talking about football. I'm not talking about the side stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just talking about football.
Right.
The Browns are playing the long game, right?
Yes.
They had an opportunity here. From player to player, these players only come around once every blue moon in their prime. They took a chance. They played the long. So I'm not mad they took a chance on the long game. Now, the only problem with the long game is we got the short game.
Yeah, we got to get through the next year.
Right on the side of us here.
Yeah, well,
Right.
but listen, I think everybody would be fine with that if it leads to a Super Bowl.
But now we're bleeding the two worlds together because there's some baggage coming here, right?
Yeah.
And now people are now reconciling the baggage, right? Is this what I want here? Is this how I want it, right? We've been here. I'm telling you, we've been suffering for a long time here. Suffering.
Yeah.
Now, I was just saying, I was in Chicago the other day, right? I was in Chicago. My daughter's going to law school in DePaul, right? I was in Chicago. They're very keenly aware what the Browns have over here. I'm watching the Celtics game there, right? They're very keenly aware that the Browns have put something together over here. So that's outside of this geographic region where we are.
I think the general
Other people like, hey, hold on now, you got something going on over
across the country
there.
have been aware that something's brewing here for a number of years. I think look at the excitement there was 2 years ago coming into the season.
So we're
20 teams would trade their starting, 20 fan bases would trade their starting quarterback for Watson, and it's only 20 because of the legal stuff.
Now I would tell you to Jason's point, as long as this continues to go on, it's going to be a distraction. It's going to detract from what's going on here, right? Because
that's why
instead of going into the locker room and talking about the game, we're going to be getting bits and pieces of every little piece, and every person's going to get dragged into it. After a while, they're going to get sick of it.
Sure.
Right?
Well, we're already sick of it. I think everybody on this panel,
The NFL has
all the fans are sick of it.
They should get together with them and say, look, sometimes you're gonna understand this. It's bigger than just yourself. Let's figure it out. Can we figure this out and keep it moving? Because now they're bringing up a lot of other people into this, and guess what? It just don't look good for nobody.
So the last clip that we have from the Florio Jim Donovan interview is Mike talking about what the potential suspension is. Play it.
The first moment for me that I really started to think it's going to be significant and not a Ben Roethlisberger situation was when Major League Baseball suspended Trevor Bauer 2 years for something that isn't identical but similar. Whether and to what extent consent within the confines of potential sexual activity was violated by a professional athlete. That's where there's similarity. And the blowback to that, I mean, there really wasn't any. There weren't people saying, I can't believe Major League Baseball would impose a 2-year suspension on someone for activities completely beyond the diamond, completely off the job. It has nothing to do with his job. It has nothing to do with his team. And he still got 2 years, and nobody said boo. And I think it's relevant because that changes the expectations of the public. And at the end of the day, the personal conduct policy, it isn't a justice system. It's a device for ensuring that whatever the NFL does to a player who gets in trouble away from work meshes with public expectations. And that's when I thought, oh, there's a chance he's going to get suspended a whole year because there are 22 of these allegations. Now there are 24. Now it's taken more of a turn toward having a more ominous feel. That's why I think paid leave should be back on the table. And I've asked the league twice this week whether Roger Goodell's comments from late March about paid leave not being an option still stand. Both times they said no comment. Now you can take that however you want, but how hard would it be to say his comments still stand?
I mean, once again, I'm so fired up, guys. I know I keep jumping in first, but I'm so fired up. First of all, to say, well, now there's 24, so it's taken an ominous stand. Why does 2 more accusations make it take an ominous stand? And first of all, he said nobody said boo about the Trevor Bauer suspension. That's absurd.
We talked about it. Well,
everybody
the day
was talking
after
about
we
that.
asked the question, how does this change Deshaun Watson?
And first of all, it would be a bigger deal in this league. No, most of the Major League Baseball players think Trevor Bauer is a D-bag. Okay? Most baseball players think he's a D-bag, so the players are not sticking up for him. There's nobody in the NFL that I know of that hates Deshaun Watson. He's liked by the players. He's liked by his teammates. Players would be pissed if he's suspended. And since when does football, big bad football, whose football writers make fun of baseball all the time, since when do they care what baseball does? Baseball has much stricter penalties for steroids than football does. Football doesn't allow that to factor in. I don't think, if I'm wrong, I'll apologize to Florio and everybody else. But I don't believe football gives a rat's you-know-what about what baseball is doing with suspensions.
Jason is 2 years out of line.
For Deshaun,
That's absurd.
I don't think he's going to get 2 years. I don't think he's going to get 2 years. So I don't want to say what's out of line or not. It just makes this whole thing just makes me really uncomfortable. I will go back to what I said before. 6 to 8 games is what I've thought all along. Here's the thing, and this is what I teased at the start. We're getting dangerously close, though, to one area that will shut this whole thing down and will bring the criminal component back. In that New York Times story, there's a physical therapist who is not suing him. That's important. She's not part of this lawsuit. Who said that basically twice he instigated sexual activity, pulled her pants down, and she didn't know how to tell him no. Now, I've said this all along. If someone comes out and says he raped me, everything stops. This goes back to a criminal investigation. This goes back to the courts. He does probably go on the commissioner's exempt list, and this becomes a long, drawn-out battle. It hasn't happened yet.
Right. But you're worried that it's flirting towards that
we're
line.
treading toward that line. That's the closest that we've come.
Yeah.
That part of the New York Times article is the closest that we've come to that happening.
What does it say to you that this alleged victim hasn't brought criminal or civil charges yet? Is that coming, or has she made the decision that she doesn't want to go forward with any of this?
She remained anonymous in the New York Times story, and frankly, I don't blame her.
I don't either.
But what charges could there be? If she said she didn't know how to say no, that's not rape.
Correct. But I agree that's not rape.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying we are trending toward a line here that could derail this whole thing. So I'm not saying it's ever going to happen.
Say no and saying no are two different things.
That's a huge difference.
Two different things.
I'm just pointing out, I've said all along, if someone comes out with rape allegations, everything changes.
Sure,
We
I think everybody would agree with that in a heartbeat.
And we're getting closer to that line.
Again,
with that.
I will tell you that I go back to Texas, right? If you don't think the prosecution team in Texas, in Houston, I won't go to suburban Houston, in Houston, didn't throw everything they had at it, right? You think they were unaware of this? They're probably fully aware of this.
I don't know. We don't know. And that's what I'm saying.
There was a comment made by Busby in your article, in your interview, I believe. Well, why didn't you get conviction or charges? The DA didn't want them. I thought that was kind of bombastic.
Yeah.
That's a huge accusation.
Yeah.
I would think that if that was the case, the prosecutor in Harris County would have come forward and said, hold on. I did want, but I couldn't get. But we haven't heard that.
Busby's stance was there was 9 allegations, 9 accusers in the first grand jury. Mm-hmm. Only one of them testified, and he was furious that they only listened to the one and they didn't let the others testify. Why didn't they let the others testify? I don't know. You can make the case they weren't credible. You can make the case that the DA didn't want a conviction.
Sure.
You can go either way on that.
The methodical part of the system is that they should have interviewed all the people, and then try to figure out who's credible.
But some may not want to be.
But I will tell you, to this case here, do you know how many people who don't want to get involved and may have a legitimate claim to this anonymous person, as you've talked about in the New York Times story, could have said, just I don't want to be a part of it, right?
Right.
So that
happens. That happens.
So that leaves the prosecution with very limited ammo here, right?
G. Bush, you're twitching. It's on the final comment. We've got to move.
I'll tell you what. All I'll say is, just go back. And some of these things is very difficult to stomach a little bit, because if you take these circumstances and you take Deshaun Watson out and you take him away and you listen to Florio's comments, but if you go back and watch what Florio said about Robert Kraft, it'll change everything you thought about, right?
What did he say?
He says, well, I mean, it's all alleged right now, and I'm sure he can get a team together and just dismiss this and get this out of here.
With Robert Kraft, there was video.
And he has video.
Nothing alleged.
So my thought process is this. People have a very difficult time, and I'm just going to say this as African Americans in this country. When you have Daniel Snyder, Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, these are some of the most powerful people in the country. They consistently have been called on carpet for the same exact things Deshaun Watson has done, and there has not been one suspension one fine, one stripping of titles, nothing. If you are saying the shield counts, heavy is the head that wears the crown. I'm tired of seeing kid after kid after kid walked through courtrooms, but everybody that's paying the money, they keep cashing checks and laughing and joking at golf outings. If you're gonna start saying this stuff matters, well, you got to keep the same level of scrutiny on the people that are doing it and laughing all the way to the bank and are the top of the cash cows.
Especially when those people are doing more important jobs that affect other people.
Well, they're leaders. They should be setting examples.
Yeah.
Should we be surprised that the players are stepping out of line when some of the owners have as well?
Yeah.
But we talked about this before the show. I think everyone will agree. You take any subset of society, lawyers, owners, players, cops, firefighters, teachers, there's going to be a percentage of them, and it tends to mirror the same percentage of the entire society that get DUIs, that break laws, that take advantage of people, that try to abuse their power.
And most of them don't lose their jobs.
Some of them do. To your case, the owners, I think, Jason, everybody agreed when the Kraft thing came out. Everybody was like, whoa, wait, what?
Yeah.
And there are clearly two different sets of rules for the league between the players and the owners. And I think history has proven that.
Yeah. Jay, let's get to some positive news when it comes to the Browns.
That is.
Because I want to bring this up, guys, because I pointed this out. I sent you guys a text yesterday. The Browns for years, we move on from Watson here, because the Browns for years, when it comes to coaching, have always been the team that they always got a new coach. There's always a new coach, right? Always turnover, new offense with no consistency. And I happened to see this stat yesterday that blew my mind. There's only 5 teams in the NFL that have had the same head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator for 3 or more years. The Chiefs, the Bengals, the Commanders, the Cardinals, and the Browns. Like, for years, the Browns were always on the opposite end of this, right? Where they were never in a list like that. And I think about this, and I'm like, okay, yeah, we're still working things out with what's going to happen with the quarterback. But, guys, for the Browns to have the whole staff together, and not only the head coach, the OC, the DC, the Browns haven't had much turnover in their entire coaching staff. To have the same running back coach, the same wide receiver coach, a lot of the position coaches on defense.
Special teams coach is the same.
Special teams coach. I think this, when we talk about going into this season, obviously the big unknown is the quarterback. But if that gets settled the way we hope it does, or at least reasonably close to what we hope it does, there's an advantage that the Browns, and to be fair, the Bengals as well in this division, but not a lot of other teams, including, believe it or not, the Ravens and the Steelers, have over those teams. Consistency. New quarterback, new wide receiver, but much of the rest of the team and coaching staff is the same.
The only I read that. The only shocking thing to me was that the Browns were in that group.
Stunning.
Because this is the case in the NFL every year. You can go back 20
teams.
years.
Yeah, sure.
And the reason being, every year 6 to 8 coaches get fired.
Right.
And those 6 to 8 jobs are filled by coordinators from the other
good teams.
Teams that are remaining.
Yeah.
So there are very few teams that go 2 straight years without changing a head coach or a coordinator.
Correct.
What that means for the Browns is continuity. The only reason I couldn't get too excited about that is I think the missing component to that is quarterback.
Sure.
So you still have a lot of change at a very important position, and this quarterback plays completely different than the last one does. So you're going to change your system.
So you talk about consistency. And consistency is a great thing in sports when you have it as teams build through that because you get to know your personnel, who you're working with, all that. The problem is, if your personnel is mediocre and you just keep consistency for sake of consistency, right? That's what this could be. So when I look at that, I don't look at it because they've got the consistent coaching staff in here. Do you have the people qualified to get us to where we're trying to go, or are they just friends of friends? Because in this business, and in this sports business, it's usually friends of friends. That's my guy from back in the day. I work with him
how it
over.
works.
But the problem is they don't make him the best person for the job. Right?
No, it's a good fit with the head coach.
I'll tell you what, OG. Let me tell you this, man. I was thinking about this, Bull. Kevin Stefanski is setting himself up. I think he's going to be a Coach of the Year candidate. And the reason I believe that is because not only are you going to have the different things going around with the quarterback positions, the quarterback won't be there. I also think Kevin Stefanski took a lot of things to heart. He knows that he basically said Baker wasn't good enough, right? He said that. Now people gonna be
Well,
watching.
no, he didn't
did he
really
say
say
that?
that.
When
He said he was completely comfortable moving forward with Baker Mayfield.
Well, what I'm saying, he didn't believe that Baker Mayfield was going to be a better quarterback than Deshaun
no,
Watson.
yeah,
so
what he
made that
said
move.
was, I can upgrade it to this position, and I'm going to do it.
Yes, so they upgraded to the position, but here's the thing. Kevin Stefanski now has an opportunity to show what you're talking about. The great coaches in this league is good for 2 to 3 wins, just on scheming, just on making the right time management pieces. You know, he can have an opportunity to come out here, start off fast, and say, you know what? Now I'm going to accent my running game. Now I'm really going to get creative. Now I'm gonna really lock in and get back to where I was.
Now I'm going to do this
in 2020. But here's the thing: he took a step back. He knows that. He knows he took a step back.
And he's going to get the blame if Watson doesn't succeed.
Exactly. He's the next up on the block. He's the next up on the block.
Yeah.
Jason, we've had this conversation. We thought he lost a bit of his fastball.
Kevin?
Yeah, year to year. And you said you think that he's going to change and he's going to be, he's going to listen to the criticism or whatever. But I haven't seen any indication that he's going to, one of the things was the offensive coordinator. The other thing was, using the two backs together at the same time. It seems like he's, dug in saying, I'm the king, I make the rules, and this is the way I want to do it. Do you think that he took a step back last year?
I don't think he lost his fastball. I think he lost confidence in his quarterback.
Is that what it was?
Yeah. And there were times where, a lot of the fourth downs that we talk about, and he gets crushed for going for it on fourth because their conversion rate is
They get
awful.
crushed by me.
But for a lot of people are
I killed them for it.
because they weren't converting on him. And there were times as the year went on last year where I likened it to holding on 16 at blackjack.
Sure.
The book says you hit. And the book would say to go for it on some of these. And as the year went on and they kept failing on fourth down, I felt like a couple times he held on 16 because he didn't have faith in his quarterback.
Well, you know what I would say to that?
I like that.
So the book does say that there's a certain thing that you should do in these situations. And I think early in the season, it's okay to play the book. But once you're past midseason, you now have a body of work as to what this team is.
Yeah.
And this team was consistently missing on fourth and short.
And
so
I think
that
we're
has
saying
to
the
weigh
same,
into the
I
equation
think we're
too.
saying the same thing in different ways.
in different ways.
They will go for it even more this
with
year.
Deshaun. Yeah.
And they should.
I think
but
his
last year they shouldn't.
His
and they
quarterback
did.
lost confidence in himself.
Yep.
And the head coach lost confidence in his quarterback
Sure.
as the year went on. For whatever reason. I've said it a million times. I think the shoulder injury was way overblown. I think people made way too big of a deal
God, 100%
out of the
right.
shoulder injury. I got so sick of listening to it.
It's embarrassing.
And
excuses for him.
so, but for
But
whatever
it was
reason.
an injury that needed surgery, and it happened in week 2.
Well, the injury occurred in week 2, but it got worse later on. But still, I'm just telling you, I think we made way too big of a deal about it. They were calling quarterback sneaks in games where if his shoulder was as bad as it was, they would not be calling those plays. And I asked Kevin 100 different times, 100 different ways. Baker had the most success the year before rolling left and getting out of the pocket and on the move. That is gone. Why is that gone? Our defense is taking it away, or are you protecting the shoulder? And he said 100 different ways the shoulder has nothing to do with it. And it was the way defenses were scheming them. And that's why they had to move on and make
and that's what happens
injury
in the league.
The injury is not an excuse for bad decision making, and he was making bad decisions all year. All those terrible picks he threw, what does that have to do with a bad shoulder?
I go back to this.
Thinking he can make throws that he can't.
I go back to this.
That's bad decision making.
Ultimately, when you talk about somebody being injured, right? There's one person in the food chain that can shut it all down.
That's you.
Right.
Yeah.
Kevin Stefanski said, "No, you're going to have a seat today, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm going another way, right?" He had the other thing I was telling. We had more weapons than Baker Mayfield. All right, so Baker wasn't humming on all cylinders.
He wasn't even the biggest weapon on offense.
So I'd have been like, here,
Pull
I
him
got
out of
other
there.
people here. I told you I had, Hunt got hurt, but I had Chubb and Hunt in the background, right, in the backfield, right. I've got other things I can do, right. And ultimately, if Baker was not getting it done, the head coach is the one that said, I think I'm gonna make it.
I agree with it 100%.
Brad Sellers, you're out the lineup today. Pip's going in today.
But hang on.
What do you mean Pip's going in today?
Yeah.
I've been starting.
I'm making the judgment that you're not ready.
Guys, I think we've gone off the topic a little bit. Let me just bring us back.
Hang on. Let me say one thing.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to go down this rabbit hole
Yeah.
either, but I think it's really important. I think this decision went even higher than Kevin Stefanski. The Browns had a decision to make on Baker Mayfield and whether or not to extend
You think
him.
the front office made that decision?
I think it went all the way to the very top.
Yeah.
They needed to see what they had in 6 because they had to figure out if they were going to extend him or not.
Right, you can't tell if he's on the
You
sideline.
can't tell if he's on the sideline, and that's a huge reason why he played.
But getting back to the original point, I agree with both some of what G said and Jason. Number one, I agree he did not lose his fastball. Were there some more questions that I had personally about his decision making? Yes,
I could,
but ultimately, his quarterback wasn't playing well enough, and he did lose confidence in him. And I agree with G. I think he's going to be reinvigorated by a significantly better quarterback, his ability to have a much bigger playbook and do many more different things. And I think we're going to see a huge difference.
So
this
when does
year.
he panic? If you go out 0-2 at the start, do you panic?
No.
Does not panic?
Well,
you're not gonna have your
normally in
quarterback
0-2
at
you
0-2.
don't. If you start 0-2 with this schedule,
Yeah, that's what
my finger's real close to the button.
No, because Jacoby's going to be your quarterback.
Yeah, well,
so what can be
true.
What can your expectations?
All bets
level
are
be?
off because Deshaun Watson isn't your quarterback. Who knows what the hell happened?
By the way, add a left field prediction here.
Okay.
David Bell, the kid they drafted in the third round.
Yeah. No, I thought it was later than that.
Fourth round
from Purdue.
He is going to have a sneaky big year and be in the mix for Rookie of the Year.
Wow. Wow.
I'm getting nervous. This Browns fans making huge predictions all around. Doesn't this sound familiar, Jay?
Yeah.
We're going to have the Coach of the Year. We're going to have the Rookie of the Year. We're going to win the Super Bowl.
No, I'm not saying Rookie of the Year, but he's going to be in the mix.
Okay.
He won't win it, but he'll be in the mix.
The little Joker, the deuce, and the ace.
I've seen this movie 50 times. All right, let's talk about LeBron James because earlier this week, there was a story out that LeBron James, we know what he's done with the I Promise School. It's unbelievable. He's literally single-handedly changing Akron and the future of that city. I shouldn't say single-handedly. LeBron is leading the parade. He has donated a lot of money, and his name and his money and his power has recruited an inordinate amount of area businesses chipping in big checks to help what he's doing. What he's doing now is he's going to start a medical facility that's right in the vicinity of the I Promise School. It's right across the street, just in the shadow.
Yeah.
This medical facility is going to provide, Brad, what you call wraparound services for many of the students at the I Promise School and their families, which, let me tell you, are badly needed. Why is this so important?
So let me tell you. So in communities of color, there are existing barriers to having people have access to the services that are required to make you a whole person. What LeBron James, I refer to, he's got the memo. He's gotten the memo because the memo is this. Older players always wonder that if the young players understand the mission. Well, it's very apparent now that LeBron James understands the mission. What he is doing is standing in the gap, right? So if you want the kids to thrive, the kids have to be in a nurturing environment at home that their families have a chance to thrive as well. So the things that he's setting up across the street from I Promise is like, it's not ironic that they're in symmetry of one another.
Sure.
Because they're feeding off one another.
Yep.
And so while you're here with the kid, you can come over here and get these wraparound services, whether it be job employment, health care, all the other things, training, the things that need to go on in many communities, Akron, Cleveland. People who do the things that I do, we're doing that every day because it has to get done. Because if you do not do it, right,
it falls on someone.
Well, here, some people of the constituency won't even take part in. So let's say you don't have transportation to go to healthcare. You'll just skip the appointment.
There's even going to be transportation services
you
he's
won't even
providing
go
to get to the services.
I have a barrier. Right. It's a barrier that stops me from going.
And that's part of the reason why the life expectancy of black people in America is less than the life expectancy of white people, is because there's not enough medical care. People don't have transportation to go. And I think an unintended positive, or maybe it is intended, I don't know. I'm just thinking about this. Like, okay, in poorer communities, often the schools are not as good, right? Obviously, his school is great, but often in poor communities, the schools are not as good.
Sure.
It's less opportunity for students to get high-paying jobs. If you go to a school that's not as good, you're not as prepared for college. You may not be able to afford to go to college. Who knows? I wonder if this medical center, in addition to the school, will inspire kids in the area to want to become doctors, which is important because we need more doctors in those communities.
Jason, let me ask you this question. You've been around LeBron a long time. When did these type of things start to pop up on his radar? When did you see him kind of focus and switch from just I want to have a lot of money and shoes to now his community initiative? When did that light bulb go off?
When he went from the bike-a-thon to starting the academy. and not the school academy, but when he started his I Promise program.
Right.
That is when things really went in motion. And the timing of it was it was a little skeptical, like, okay, well, is he just doing this to try and cover the PR of going to Miami? No. What he is doing, it's remarkable.
Yeah.
The change.
And it is from the heart, too.
He's made programs for parents of kids in his I Promise so that they can get GEDs. I've sat in these people's homes. I've talked to the parents. I've talked to the kids of the lives that he's changing. The stuff I've said this for years. His influence and his impact off the court will be far greater by the time it's over than what he did on the court.
Let me ask this. Is there an athlete, past or present, and I know Dikembe Mutombo does an incredible amount of work in his home country, that has built a bigger bridge from poverty to the launching pad of success than LeBron James? Because I can't think of one.
Roberto Clemente, maybe?
There have been.
Well, he did a lot of service.
Yeah.
But
There have been many that have filled in the gap, but let me just tell you, there have none that have been as iconic as LeBron James. Let me just tell you something. He's not doing this in Cleveland, right?
No.
He's doing it right in his home where he was sprung from because why? He was in the system.
He lived it.
He knew it.
He came
right?
up there.
And so he said, listen, I'm going to do back for the people because without those folks, he doesn't get to do what he's doing today. He recognizes that. And I think that's got to be a point. Adam Silver should be launching him as the face of this organization.
we need more superstars doing what LeBron's doing.
Absolutely.
And here's the model. Quickly, we're going to move to our next topic. I'll wrap it by saying this very quickly. I think that LeBron is doing this for all the right reasons. I talked to Stephanie, who runs his family foundation, within a month ago. And I asked, why hasn't 60 Minutes came and done a profile on this? Why doesn't? And that's not the reason we're doing it. We're doing it because there's a need, and LeBron feels obligated to fill that need. And he doesn't care about the publicity. And that's what makes me feel like this is genuine, this is real, and he is making an absolute impact in Akron. We're on a time crunch. We're going to do a quick dive top 5 McNuggets because Super Joe Charbonneau just walked in the studio. And he's going to be joining us in the second hour. So let's blast through this top 5 so we can get to the guy that used to fix a broken nose with a pair of pliers.
Yeah, Super Joe's in the house. We are hyped. But as always, the Ultimate 5 is sponsored by Roundstone Insurance. Roundstone offers a better alternative for affordable quality health care. For more than a decade, Roundstone Insurance has been saving small and mid-sized businesses money, an average of up to 20%. Yeah, 20%. That's more than 19. Contact us today to learn how you can get great health care benefits that your employees will love and save money too. And today's top 5, the most stressful overtimes in sports, as far as which format of overtime causes the most stress to fans.
Got it. Okay. That's a good one.
And number 5?
Yep.
By the way, number 1 is easy, but Mikey's going to screw it up. I can predict already. But
Your track record.
Petty LeBoule.
Your track record isn't good.
Petty LeBoule.
Let me get the Petty LeBoule super up real quick.
Yeah, get that ready. Get that ready. It's coming.
Oh, what's up? Number 5.
I love the nickname, but it's not really appropriate for this thing. This is not being petty.
Hey, we have
either.
Super Joe in the house,
All right,
but
go
we
ahead.
can argue about your terrible nickname later. Super Joe's more important. Number 5, though, is the NBA. It's not sudden death. It goes back and forth. The final minute is good, but sometimes with the
That's fair.
reviews and delays, it takes forever. Not a huge fan of the NBA.
Yeah, I'm not either. I wouldn't even put it in my top 5.
Yeah.
4.
They should do an Elam ending in NBA post overtime. You know what the Elam ending is?
No.
I'll explain it later.
We'll talk. It's too.
Don't get us too
There's
far
too
down
much
there.
math to tell. Before
I think it should be a
Super Joe.
half-court shootout. Bring your best 5 shooters, 5 shots.
I'll tell you about the Elam ending. I bet you love it. We'll do
All
it
right,
later.
what's
Go
yours?
ahead.
Number
What's
4, the NFL. It's good, but it's not perfect.
It's
the coin
awful.
flip. I don't think it's awful, but I don't think it's great. I don't like how the coin flip situation
that's
works. And the fact
trash,
it's not sudden death, it's lower on
And
my
the
list.
fact that you can lose in overtime without ever having a chance to touch the ball.
Rock.
Yeah.
So far, you're F-. But what's number 3?
There's not a ton of sports to choose.
No, I know there's not.
There's 6. I left one off.
there
You
are
didn't
few.
throw cricket in?
Cricket is not in
Okay,
here.
I didn't think you did.
Number 3, this would have been number 1 2 years ago, but they changed the rules. College football. I was on the field for LSU A&M 7 overtimes.
Oh,
that
nice.
was the most epic thing of all time. Now they have to go for 2-point conversions after the second overtime. It's still good. I like the back and forth. Both teams get the ball, but it's not what it used to be.
I once
love
did
it.
play-by-play 6 overtimes of a Division III football game. It was phenomenal.
Say, I love college footballs. I think I would have it number 1.
That would have been my number.
No,
Yeah.
definitely not
Even the
number
new
1.
format,
I love
though,
it.
where
No.
it's
Mikey
only
McNuggets might
2-point
actually get it right.
conversions.
I might
What's
have
that?
criticized him too early.
No, I
The
do.
new
I like
format's
that where you
only
have to go to
2-point
2.
conversions, though.
Yes.
The old college football would have
I
been number
know.
1 for me.
I know, but I still like this
I
one.
know he better have the number 1 I'm thinking about.
Yeah, I know what his number 1's going to
Better
be, but I
the
think it's
number
going to be
one I'm
wrong too.
thinking
Go number 2.
Number 2 is baseball.
No, that should be number
Yeah.
1.
The best part about baseball is every pitch
There's
is
tons of pressure.
crucial.
Yeah.
The stress
Yes.
between
Absolutely.
pitches. I actually don't even mind the runner on second base.
That's what I was going to ask. Do
Well,
we
that's
love
not-
or hate the ghost runner?
I like it.
Well, but in the playoffs, there is no ghost
No, I
runner.
know there's
do
not.
love I like the ghost runner. I never
ghost
thought I
man
would,
is
but I
dope.
like it. I bet you Joe's not going to like it. You like it? Joe?
We'll ask Joe. Joe hates the ghost runner.
I knew it.
I hate
Yeah,
I knew it.
you know
I
what?
knew he wouldn't like it.
Ghost
You
man.
can't change the rules of the game
Right.
at the end of the game.
Right, and that's what they're doing.
That's
stupid.
stupid.
Why? They
What's
do it in
number one?
they
It's
do it in
stupid.
football.
Stupid.
They do in most
In all sports.
Mike,
Ghost
Mike,
man.
Not
you go
basketball.
to number one.
quarter and
please.
overtime
Get me
is
to where
5
I want to
minutes.
be.
What's
What's
number
number
one?
one?
Number one's hockey. This is what inspired the
you
list.
blew
It is
it.
sudden
What?
death.
You blew it, bro.
It can go to 4 overtimes.
No
They
soccer?
back and
Bro,
forth.
what happened
First
to
goal
soccer?
wins.
The penalty
Soccer,
No,
bro.
I hate penalty
This is
kicks.
America.
I'm
Nobody
very
cares.
Oh, just come
anti-penalty.
on.
No, so quickly we'll tell you why we love or hate soccer. Soccer is that doesn't. It'd be like doing a field goal kickoff
Oh,
in football.
Did
For-
you-
wait a
Why
second.
would you do that?
Did you see what happened to the English team?
No, I've seen these. And there's
The
drama. but
penalty kicks is not all of overtime. First, they do play extra
No, I know
time.
they do.
Yeah.
Those kids got lambasted in London
But
afterwards.
what you're essentially deciding the game on is one skill set of a game that includes 30 skill sets.
We don't like none of them other skill sets.
So do
We
you
want
want to
see
do in
goals.
football? Why don't we do in football then? Let's bring
they're
the
talking about the
field goal
most-
Let's have a
kickoff.
home run derby at the end of baseball.
Home run derby to
Jay,
decide extra
they're talking about
innings.
the most stressful overtime.
It is
That thing is stressful.
Well,
Only for the goalie.
I think the
What?
NHL is
The
because
kicker.
it's always a golden
'Cause
goal
you don't
It's
do
situation.
golden goal.
The
And we
second you
go
go to
4 or 5
overtime,
overtimes.
everything and
Yeah.
these games end. They always end with you're thunderstruck. You're like, oh my god.
It's
that's
actually
it.
a good
It's
list.
over.
I would flip flop hockey and baseball personally, but I think it's a good
Man,
list.
that
I'm
pen- that-
shocked you guys wanted soccer. in
That
there.
penalty kick is a piece.
Man,
It's a piece.
I
Brothers
would
is
I would
turning
just
in
like
the
to see
penalty
We got
7
two
foot
brothers on the panel and they're advocating for soccer.
You know what would be funny?
Never happened before.
What would be funny is seeing 7-foot Brad Sellers playing soccer.
As a goalie.
Goalie, put him in goal.
I want him
Yeah.
as a goalie.
Exactly.
That's cheating.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, I'm thrilled because when I was 15 years old, this dude was not just changing the Indians' life, but he took baseball by storm. Super Joe Charbonneau.
This dude still be lifting weights.
Look
like
at
that.
him.
Look at this
Yeah.
guy. This guy.
He's joining the show when we come back. Stay with us.
Yeah.
Damn.
Cleveland sports to me is bigger than anything. It's bigger than some people's marriages. They say the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No. Dallas is not America's team. Cleveland is America's team. And sports in Cleveland is a religion. It's a way of life. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. Sports is a way for people in Cleveland to get together, and it's something that can't be replicated in Cleveland. Sports is a thing.
Recognize that feeling? It is the feeling of being together, enjoying the company of a familiar face, and sharing moments that matter to you, to me, to us. What matters to some could impact all of us, especially in a place like Northeast Ohio. Here, stories are shared from east to west to south. Stories of perseverance, of family, of love. If a story brings us together, it's what matters most.
News you can trust should be news you can rely on.
And every night at 11 on What's Next, you can rely on us.
A new legal twist for Brown.
Today also marks the beginning of ODOT's.
Here, and we are going to continue.
So the Guardians have to play almost. You can rely on us to help you go to bed better informed with stories that prepare you for tomorrow.
And with news that's relevant to your life. We'll make sure that you're ready for what's next.
Because being ready for tomorrow is what matters most.
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I am a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. I have carried my fandom every city I've ever lived in. People have always asked me, why are you so diehard about Cleveland? It's because I'm from here. And we know how much our teams mean to us. Most of us know that because of our parents. In my case, my father was just a huge Cleveland sports fan. It was really part of our life. It was woven into everything we did. And it was our connection throughout his life. All right, welcome back to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show.
Jay,
And
wait
I
a
am
second. I
pleased-
thought we were having Joe Charbonneau, not Lou Ferrigno.
Yeah,
here
no
today.
kidding. Well, that's
What happened?
I was just going to say, ladies and gentlemen,
Jeez.
lay your eyes on the most jacked 66,
Look at this guy.
soon to be
My
67-year-old
God.
you've ever seen. Give us a flex, bro.
Beautiful.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, my God.
Wait, what does the tattoo say? What does the
Believe in faith.
Believe and faith.
Yeah.
And he's getting married in a week.
Listen,
Yes.
I know you had a couple comeback attempts.
Yes.
Crazy.
Let's get back out there right now. I remember you being a big dude, but you weren't like ripped, jacked like this.
Yeah, the Indians wanted me to always stay under 200 pounds, 200 pounds or under. So they would actually pay me, and back then it was like $5,000, which is a lot of money when you're making $25,000, $30,000 a year.
Right.
You know how that is. Old school salary.
Man, you were born 25 years too early.
That little
But
what I need to do
anyway,
for it.
yeah, it was hard for me to stay under there.
So you had weigh-ins?
We had weigh-ins. We did as a team once a month anyway, but I'd have them twice a month. So I got to know the guy at Service to Scale, and on my weigh-ins, I'd have him tweak it. So I always had a 5 to 7 pound difference.
Nice.
I wonder if Bull or
yeah.
Bush are doing that.
Hey,
They're
listen,
having
you
a
need to
weight
do that,
loss
man.
challenge right now.
That's embarrassing for
Brianna
us.
don't be playing that. She be in there looking at it.
Yeah.
Don't touch the
Gosh.
scale and put your pants on, G-boy.
But Joe, now the guys, now the guys are huge compared to when you played.
They're huge.
They're monsters.
They're huge. I had to come in the spring at 185 pounds.
Yeah, right.
And when the Indians traded to the Phillies for me, I weighed like 218, 215, 218.
Okay.
And the
So
Phils
I
were
had-
fine with that, but the Indians were not.
Phillies were fine. It traded me to the Indians. I played in 79, about 218
Okay.
in the Southern League, and led the league in hitting, hit like 352, and all of a sudden they wanted me to come in spring training at 185.
One of the many
How
brilliant
stupid
decisions
is that?
by-
Yeah.
He
Now,
has
listen, that's what they
352
did
in the
back then.
minors, and they tell him to cut weight.
Yeah, 2 years in a row.
That's ridiculous.
I hit like
What was that based?
350.
What was that thinking based on?
Computer, at the time they just
They didn't have
started using computers in baseball. They did, but they took up a whole room.
Yeah, and they did 1/50th of what they do now.
You set one on your lap in those days, you'd have 2 broken legs because they took up a whole room. But the computer spit it out that I was always going to have a weight problem. So, F you, computer.
Yeah.
It's the flex game.
Can I
Look at
say
that.
Can I say
Yeah,
that?
you can say that.
Okay.
Did you always know growing up that you wanted to be a baseball player? What was your target when you were a kid?
Oh, growing up in the Bay Area, San Francisco Bay Area, just watching the Dodgers and Giants and the rivalry there. You
Yeah.
got to remember, at one time, I forgot which pitcher hit, I think Roseboro over the head with a bat.
Yep.
He was throwing a ball back. Remember that? It brushed, might have been Juan Marichal. Brushed his head. He turned around and hit him in the head with
Yep.
the bat. And that's how much those two teams hated each other.
Yeah, oh yeah.
So that rivalry got
good
me
old
so
days.
interested in baseball.
Good old days.
Yeah.
The good
Who
old
was your
days.
favorite player watching those
Oh,
back then?
Willie Mays, of course. Willie
yeah,
Mays was something. Oh, my God.
When did you know
What a
that
great
becoming a
athlete.
pro ball player was a possibility?
The first time I got drafted. Seriously, I didn't know I
So
was
you
going to
didn't
get
know
drafted.
in high school that you were an exceptional player?
I didn't play much in high school. I was
Really?
an average at best player. I was
How did
late
you get drafted?
developer. I just kept lifting and working, practicing. Like guys would be going to dances, my friend. I'd be out
You
playing
still
with my
put in
little
the work in,
brother.
yeah.
You know, under the lights, California. There was a tennis court across the street. They lit it up till 11 at night in the weekend. We'd just keep hitting. Tennis balls would come over. We'd keep them and hit with them. And that's how we got all our bucket of balls.
Yep.
We'd find tennis balls they didn't want back. We'd put them in a bucket and pitch to each other. We'd go back and forth. He ended up getting drafted, and I made him play with me. He wanted to go do stuff. I'm like, no, you're practicing.
He owes you.
He owes me. But he got drafted by the Indians and I believe Pirates, and he played at Tri-C in this area.
Okay.
Nice.
And then he finished his career at Coastal Carolina. But it was all that practice and believing and doing it. You know how it is. You doubt yourself one time.
Yeah,
and
well, you got to stay at it. I mean, you stay humble
Yes.
at the game, and then. But here, I got to go back to G before we get to Joe. Look at his physique.
Dude,
this
it's
is
insane.
unbelievable.
I'm not
This
kidding
is-
you.
This is freaking unbelievable.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank-
it is.
Well, look at how
Yeah,
great his
no,
shape
but I'm like, I'm
as
looking at you.
former athlete.
I'm like, he comes in here like, gee, was he flexing when he walked in?
Man,
Like,
this is unacceptable. I got to listen.
G said,
We gotta get in the
I'm going to
gym,
the gym
man.
immediately after the show.
immediately
I mean, you're almost 30 years younger than him.
This is unacceptable, bro. I'll tell you this. I talk to Brad a lot about the difference in generations. When my father came up, the first sport I ever played was baseball, right? And baseball was in the major cities.
Yes.
Everybody played baseball.
Sure did.
When you were coming up, how was baseball? How big a part was baseball in the community as far as the youth of playing baseball, and how is it today? And why do you think it's kind of fallen off a little bit?
Well, that's a great two-part question. One, it was so big to me that I grew up in a migrant farm worker community in California.
Okay.
A lot of Hispanics.
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, there was probably 20% white families, the rest Hispanic. They welcomed me in, played baseball with them. They had teams they played after, and this is in a big orchard. And
Okay.
they had a field built for them.
Oh, okay.
And they were pickers. And they worked in the orchards, maintenance, picking, and families lived there. And they would let me play with them. And they were good ball players from Mexico. Holy cow! I played some off-season baseball in Mexico. I
Right.
never realized how good a baseball was played in Mexico. So they allowed me to play with them, taught me a lot, worked with me. I didn't have a father.
Okay.
And just brought me along. I was always playing with them, always play catch with them, the kids, the adults. And, you know, they're so family orientated. They just kind of adopted me, and they were great teachers.
It all worked out.
It worked great.
So
And
there's
playing-
so many myths around your career. I want to play a quick game with you called Joe Charbonneau Fact or Fiction.
Oh, my God.
Here we go.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Number one, fact or fiction. You did fix your broken nose with a pair of pliers.
Vice grips. That is fact.
Vice grips. Tell us
got
the
hit.
story, Joe.
Well, I got hit in my roommate's idea. Of course, it wasn't his nose. Got hit in the minor leagues, and back then you didn't come out of a game or anything.
No,
that
never.
was '76.
Yeah, right.
And I was playing for Lee Ilya, who's just a maniac. If
Right.
you've ever,
I remember Lee.
you remember
That was
Lee,
he's the famous
my
rant
God.
at Wrigley Field when he ripped the
Very
fans.
famous
Ripped the
rant.
Yeah, he was
fans.
killing the
Yeah.
fans.
And
yeah.
you don't do that at Wrigley Field.
No,
He whipped
He paid
them.
the
Killed
price
them.
for it.
One of the greatest rants ever.
He's like, what
Google
are
it.
you doing here at a day game? Don't you have jobs?
Yeah, I
Who
know.
are these
Of
bums?
course they don't. They live in Chicago. Of course they don't have jobs.
So you took the vice grips.
Yeah.
And, well, he took them and said, this is what we're going to do. Clapped them on my nose. And, of course.
And you never said, wait a minute, this doesn't seem professional.
Well, I didn't say, stop, let's put a cloth over at least. You're tearing my nose skin up. So
Okay.
we did that.
So that
my
had to hurt
God.
like hell.
Yeah, that didn't feel
Lord.
good.
All right, fact or fiction?
Oh, man.
You gave yourself stitches once. Is that true?
That's true.
This man.
What is
How
that
did you know
story
how to
all
do
about?
that?
Well, again,
Yeah.
my neighbor, older
You're
guy,
easily influenced,
idea. Well, yeah, when it came to the
Oh, my God.
wrath of my mother at that time, certainly, because she's like, I don't want you playing in that field baseball. It's full of glass, and you'll cut yourself, and I'll have to take you to get stitches.
Yeah, right, right.
Oh, Lord.
We were
So you
playing.
couldn't tell her.
Oh, hell no. Remember the old pepper back and forth? You're running in the middle.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
I fell down, and sure enough. But he goes, oh, you cut yourself. I go, oh, no. He goes,
Mom's
"Just
gonna
a
kill
cut.
me."
Go home, you'll go get stitches. You don't understand. I'll get a wooden shampoo. She'll hit me with a rolling pin on it.
Should have been upset
Called a
that
wooden
you.
shampoo.
She's so upset. You got to get a medical bill going to get stitches.
Well, yeah. He goes, my mom's a nurse. She has a kit in the garage.
Oh, wow.
You know that hooked me, and he started stitching me up.
Oh, so hold on, hold on.
Wow.
You stitched yourself up or somebody stitched you up?
He said, here it is.
There it is,
It
right
didn't
there.
do a very good job.
And probably
This
left
was
a nasty
another kid.
scar.
Yeah.
Joe, how old were you at the time? Do you remember?
Probably like 12. He
So
was
this was
probably
another
like
12-year-old that did this?
17.
Did you cry?
No, he was 17.
Oh, he was 17.
He knew what he was doing. He was almost 18.
I just want to know, did he cry?
Yeah, did you cry at all?
Cry?
I don't think I cried when I pulled his ears.
All right, fact or
dying.
fiction? Did you really open a beer bottle with your eye socket?
That was a party in junior college. There's a scar on one of these.
This man.
And I did
Oh,
it
my
once.
God.
You did it
And those were twist-offs.
Oh, that's a real.
Did it. Everybody was amazed, clapping. And when I got back from the doctor getting stitches,
Well, at least you went to
some
the
guy
doctor.
had stole my girlfriend. She was gone.
What?
Yeah.
Wow,
did
what
all
a
that.
night. What a night.
She had left with a teammate of mine.
Very nice.
She must be losing.
Was
now.
it Rick Manning? Was it Rick Manning? Was it Rick Manning?
Careful now. Say ours.
I'm not even going there.
Somewhere down
I'm not even going to the.
All right. I don't know if this is true. I read it, and I'm like, I got to ask.
So far,
Joe.
they're all true. So
I know,
the
but
odds are
this
good.
one was the one where I'm like, I don't know how you even do that.
This could be a phone.
There's a story out there that you once ate 6 lit cigarettes.
That's true, but Ellie asked me about this. They were watching.
That's a walk-off
They were
story.
watching me because I had to hold them down to win the $200. All of a sudden, everybody went over. They lit the birthday cake. It was at my teammate's birthday party, 78 in Visalia, California. I was playing with the Twins. They took that brief moment to light the cake and sing, and I ducked out the back door and just all over. Just
Of course.
boom. Came back in, and they're like, "You want some cake?" I go, "Yeah." They're like, "He still hasn't thrown up yet." That's impossible.
Put lit cigarettes in your mouth, Joe Charbonneau.
This man ate a cigarette sandwich.
Well, there's a trick to that. You do all 6 at once, so you only have to swallow one.
Baseball
You don't do
players
one.
are crazy, man.
Did you burn your mouth? Like, it had to be at least quick, right?
Actually, I took a
Sweet.
swig of beer, put it in, and then washed them down with beer.
That's-
Joe,
That
when
is-
you were
that
playing
is gross.
in the big
Yeah,
leagues,
it was horrible. But I did get sick.
you have another
Kids
one?
don't
I've got
do
2
this.
more.
Oh, go,
I've got
go,
2
yeah.
more. Were you really stabbed by a fan?
In Mexico, yes.
oh wow,
Story, please.
Yes. We're in Mexico, and this guy had escaped from a asylum, nut house. I guess you
Not
shouldn't
surprising.
say that. Nowadays, that's not
Sure.
right to say.
Right, yeah.
And he had stabbed a French consulate before me.
oh my
He
God.
had stabbed another guy.
Damn, Joe.
And I'm leaning up outside. We're waiting to get on the bus to go play in Mexico City. Against my hands, he came up and goes, "Where are you from?" I go, "Cleveland." Well, California, because I hadn't made the team yet there. And he stabbed me. And all the teammates, my
my
teammates
God.
jumped on him.
Probably beat the hell out of him.
Oh, God, I didn't even recognize him. There's hair all over. He had long hair, pulled it out. He was all beat
Oh
up.
my God.
Now, you did not give yourself stitches after this. You went
That's
to the
not-
hospital.
No, I went to the hospital.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
good.
wow.
This
And-
man.
And here's the last one, and this was crazy, too.
Yeah.
You ate light bulbs? Is
False.
That's false. We got false. That's a bridge too far.
Yeah, it's on the internet, so it's got to be true, right?
False. It was a whole street light. No,
So you did not crush up light
No,
bulbs?
no,
and eat
that
them.
didn't happen.
Okay,
That's
I'm glad to hear that.
That's great. 5 out of 6 are true, which is
Joe,
amazing.
yeah,
you're-
5 hours. I
You're
can't
still,
lie
you're
on
still a
that.
legend to me.
Joe, when you guys were playing, well, whether it was minor leagues, big leagues, I guess doesn't matter. At that time, were you guys immediately game over, 6-pack in hand? Like, is that happening in the locker room?
I don't know if it happens anymore. You know, game would have
No,
been
but when you
over.
played.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were drinking right in the
Yeah,
locker room, right?
The beer cooler.
Oh
right
yeah.
there.
Or the tapping cooler.
Yeah.
Right there.
And we would sit and talk. My wife and son would go home, and we would sit in there. Literally, I'd get home a couple hours after the game because we'd talk about the game, hitting, what we did good, what we did wrong. Guys like Hargrove, Hara.
Manning?
No, he was out doing something. Sorry.
What was he doing, I wonder?
He was in the streets. I'm kidding, Rick. Sorry, Rick.
No,
I'm
Rick
just
was
kidding.
Rick was the pretty boy on the team.
Yeah, Rick. Yeah.
Rick had options.
Rick was pretty.
Yeah.
In them streets.
We all sit around watch him get dressed. Not undressed. But
But that's crazy. I mean, can we go back to that time? I mean,
That was great,
That
right?
I'm born in
Well, and
81.
and the-
just being hanging with the fellas and hanging
it
out.
was so cool.
Joe, what year was that with the beer?
Probably in the minors too, right?
What's that? Oh, yeah.
beer, Well, right?
But
he was
80,
rookie of the year in
80,
80.
81,
Yeah.
82,
Yeah.
that was done in the big leagues up till,
Yeah.
I'm sure, the big
Well,
leagues.
weren't there buckets of like the greenies and the
Oh,
all
yeah.
that stuff too?
Greenies were legal.
Yeah.
Managers used to, Jim Leland used to burn heat right in the dugout.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you kind of hide it a little bit, but you
Haas
take a
would,
hit.
Haas would have his heaters in the dugout.
That's
Ron Haas,
hilarious.
which was a great teammate to play with.
Do you think, Joe? I mean, like, it's unfortunate because obviously you came up, you were a great player, and then you had the injuries.
Yeah.
And had you played later, they obviously medical is better now. You probably could have come back.
Yeah, I think there
know.
would have been a difference. They
Yeah.
they couldn't scope you then.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
That's a regular.
I mean, that's a big intrusion when they cut muscle through your back like 2-3 times like that and it heals.
Yeah.
And I've had some stomach issues. surgery, stomach surgery.
Yeah.
So that much muscle to heal before they scoped. Certainly when scoping came into sports, it sped up. Longevity came about as an athlete, you know that, and it sped up recovery time, and you could get back on the field twice as fast.
Right.
Oh yeah, 'cause I remember.
ACL used to be career-ending.
I was thinking about that yesterday. So ACL, Bernard King for the Knicks.
Yeah.
He was one of the first ones that had the ACL
And
thing.
came back.
And he was out like almost 3 years.
I know, it used to be terrible.
He was a mere shell of himself. He was still killing me. I was like, he on one leg still killing me.
So I've had 3. From the time from my first to the third, the protocol changed 180 degrees. After my first, I was in a leg immobilizer for 6 weeks. That you build up so much scar tissue, that makes rehab so much more difficult.
It is.
After my third, I was on an exercise bike 24 hours after they replaced the ACL. The thinking now is move. And I can only imagine with back surgery how things have changed from 81 to today.
Oh, my
It
God.
really is. Are you bitter? Are there regrets for you? Because you seem like you're just perfectly content.
Yeah, I'm not bitter because, you know, as an athlete, you guys know playing sports, at any level, you hate your career to be over.
Sure.
After high school, it's hard enough if you never play again.
Right.
After college, it's difficult if you never play again.
Right.
You can always still play, you know, lunchtime Larry stuff and then see older leagues as baseball guys.
Sure.
40 over 50,
But as a
right.
pro player, that's kind of what you do, and you take pride in that. And if you can't play, back when we played, you didn't come out of the lineup unless something was hanging.
Guys were
Let me ask
playing.
you,
None of these
that's-
maintenance days.
It was hard to swallow, but I had kids, and my family was more
That's a good
important.
question
but
because I wonder if this irritates you. The way, you know, we used to have to go at it, right? They have to pry you out.
Oh,
of the line now.
yeah.
How do you feel today? You know, the guys taking days off.
Oh, God.
Almost no one
Maintenance-
plays
maintenance days
162
off.
anymore.
No, but I'm saying
Yeah.
from the standpoint of it's the littlest thing now.
Yeah,
right?
and
The
they're out of the
littlest thing,
lineup.
You gone? I'm like,
Well,
you
even
gone?
not injuries. It's just rest days.
No,
now.
the biggest one I heard, I feel like going through the TV and popping somebody is he can't play because of a stiff neck. I had a stiff neck for 3 years sleeping in those hotels. What'd they do before that miracle pillow or something, you know?
My neck still.
I remember folding the pillow up like origami just to good around my neck,
Just
you
to be
know?
okay, right?
They have the best beds.
Yeah.
They have the best pillows. They have the best medical
they
stuff.
were-
The best travel,
they went-
right?
Travel.
They get massages all the time.
God
we
almighty.
wouldn't stay in no Four Seasons and Ritz Carlton.
no.
That
Yeah,
was
Right.
not happening.
Joe, our producer McNuggets just found on 2 different websites, which makes it more likely to be true, that in addition to the fact or fiction, you once drank beer through your nose.
Oh, that was, yeah, that
That's
was for
true.
sure.
Now 6 out of 7.
So how does that happen? Did you do it out of a straw or did you just pour it in?
I used to box and do different things, so I remember the doctor had to fix another broken nose. He basically just stuck some big steel things up there, twisted, and said, "Now you have no cartilage up there."
Yeah.
I go, "Can I drink a beer up there?" He goes, "Yeah, if you wanted to." So as soon as my nose healed, I tried
Were
it.
all
and
these
people
done to
were
win
like,
bets? I mean, because you could have made a ton of
pretty
money.
much to win money. And
Yeah,
stuff.
you could have made a living doing that.
By the way, guys, the first time I met Joe, I don't know if you remember this, we were doing a radio remote a number of years ago at Sweet Basil, or that bar right next to Sweet Basil Pizzeria, and you came by to say hello. I don't know if you remember.
yeah.
And he, you know, I was like, Joe Charbonneau just showed up at our remote. This is so cool.
Yeah.
And he was so nice. And then we played a couple of charity softball games together at
Yeah.
the Lake Erie Crushers Field.
Yes.
Where I would chat with you and Len Barker.
Lenny's a great guy.
Oh man, had some good stories. But I don't know. The last time I played in that charity game, and you were there, I don't know if you remember this, but I'm playing first base. And all of a sudden, Travis Hafner comes up for the other team.
Yeah.
And I ran into the outfield.
Yeah.
I'm not playing first base. Travis
no.
Hafner just retired.
was so
I'm a
funny.
300-pound, 50-year-old fat guy.
It
I'm
was
not
so
trying to-
fun.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, we
but
had
those were
so
great.
much fun.
It
Joe,
was a ball.
speaking of softball games, I don't know if you remember this. I haven't seen you since this happened. I'm pretty sure, 99% sure you were there. I know Vida Blue was there. Rich Gossage was there. I was
he's
playing in
crazy.
a softball game in Columbus, and the game had just started, and there was a guy on second base, 2 outs, fly ball to the outfield. He was running. I'm playing third base. He gets to third, and he goes down. He's having a heart attack.
He had a heart attack.
And it's the most
I was in
surreal.
left field or something.
But here, it was the most surreal thing I've
It was
ever
4th of
experienced.
July.
It was 4th of July.
was the
And
4th
what,
of
what
July.
happened was, and I've seen Goose many times since then, and we always talk about
I love
this.
Goose Gossage.
It was the
What a
most
great
surreal
guy.
thing. Goose Gossage has his glove under his head.
Yeah.
Vida Blue's holding his feet up. You're standing over him saying, is he going to make it? They're giving CPR to this guy on the field in the first
crazy.
inning.
Damn.
And he ended up surviving. We all signed a bat. They took him to him in the hospital in
Yeah.
Columbus the next day. But I got to tell this story. A good buddy of mine who
It was
wasn't
horrible.
with a former MLB or and part of the celebrities, we needed one more player, so I had invited him to play. Growing up, you were his favorite player. Every time I see this friend, he tells me, I'll never forget the time they canceled the game in the first inning because that guy had a heart attack. They canceled the game right there. That was
Yeah.
it. And my buddy was so furious.
Never
'cause
got it
he
off.
wanted to say he played with Joe Charbonneau.
Oh, yeah, we
and he
didn't
never
even
got
get
a
him
chance.
back.
Wasn't that nuts, though?
It was scary. I was like sick to my stomach almost to see a guy
That's scary.
you didn't think was going to make it.
I didn't think he was going to make it either.
And I was talking to his wife afterwards,
Who was, I think, a nurse,
a
wasn't she?
nurse, but she really couldn't. She was so terrified as being a nurse and stuff. It was scary. I
The
didn't think he was
benefit was
going to make
for
it.
one of the hospitals in Columbus. So thankfully there were a lot of doctors in
Yeah.
attendance, but it did not look like he was going to make it.
Oh, it
I
was
didn't think he was going to make it.
I was physically thought I was going to get sick because to watch somebody, even though I didn't know him,
Yeah.
we had talked before, and he just, bam.
Yeah, it was pretty emotional.
He just went, bam.
Went right down on the ground.
It
No
was
no
scary.
indication. But thankfully he made it.
I got to hit Joe with a couple of quickies.
Go
here.
ahead.
A couple of quickies. All right. Number one, what we talked about drinking with teammates before.
Yeah.
Which teammate, or maybe yourself, if you're the answer, could drink the most beers without passing out? If you had to pick one guy to drink the most beers.
You're asking him to tell clubhouse secrets here.
Nobody's gonna get in trouble. It's illegal to drink.
I'll start at the bottom one. The guy we'd like to get, didn't drink a lot,
Yeah.
like you would think. We'd love to get Lynn Barker drinking because his
doesn't drink?
nickname was Lynn Barfer. he would drink a lot. He would projectile. He's going to kill me. Lynn hasn't drank in a long time now. And not that he had a problem.
Right,
He
he
just
just- it's not
wasn't
his
a
thing.
big drinker.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
Len Barfer.
So
Yeah.
he
You
would
understand
drink
why he would quit.
scotch and water. And so I would go
Yeah.
and get him a straight scotch. Nice, no water. He'd take
Yeah.
a big sip.
You're a bad influence, Joe. You're a bad influence.
Oh,
Who are some
yeah.
other names? Bull wants dirt.
Yeah, we want
The
dirt on it.
biggest drinker I ever saw, the best at drinking just beer all night,
Yeah.
all day, George Vukovic. Remember
I
George?
Oh,
do.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
absolutely.
I didn't play with him. I played with him with the Phillies. I was traded to the Indians, and he later came over to the
Yeah.
Indians, and I was sitting down.
By the way, his son, real quick sidebar, his son Vince Vukovic played minor league baseball for the Batavia Muck Dogs, and I was the play-by-play man.
Oh, was he good?
He made the. If anybody in the minor leagues is
Yes,
good, but he was
good.
not good enough to get to the
Yeah.
majors. No.
Yeah. George
he
was a
could
pretty
put him
good
down.
player.
Yeah,
George
he was the
was
drinker.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good at drinking
Wade
beers at
Boggs,
that time.
Wade Boggs has told me stories where he could drink a case of beer
Yeah,
on a flight,
Yeah.
on a team flight.
Yeah,
he could-
I've seen Wade drink.
And still hit 370.
Yeah.
yeah. As long as chicken was involved in the pregame
Oh,
meal.
that's all he ate.
Yeah,
Remember that?
was
Chicken.
it. Chicken.
I spent a AAA when I got sit down. It was Wade Boggs, Brooke Jacoby, might have been Pat Town. I don't know, all these guys
Yeah.
Yeah.
in Charleston, and we got rained out, so we all ended up at the ballpark. It was crazy. I can't tell that story, but Wade.
Yeah.
Because might have been a bachelorette party.
Jay, when you get into a story and be like,
Yeah.
that's not going to end good. Let me
I'm going to put the brakes on that story.
Yeah, we got to put the break.
Who would be the
Ellie's.
last guy to pick up the tab with a bunch of players out? Last guy to pick up the tab.
Not Ron Pruitt.
He would pay Ron Pruitt?
No, he was always in the bathroom with the
Oh,
tab.
okay. So he'd be the last guy picking up the
Who
tab.
had the alligator
was
arms?
good.
I can't reach the check.
Okay.
Liddy was good. Toby Hare was good. Hargrove was good.
Really?
Yeah.
One time when for a quick story in Chicago.
Yeah.
You know, it's been Chicago.
Yeah.
Lenny comes by and I hit a home run and he won the game. And it was a day game.
Yeah.
In Chicago, so we were all at a
Yeah.
called Flapjaws. It's a famous bar in Chicago.
Yeah.
And Lenny goes, I got his first drink. to the bartender, and the bartender goes, "What do you want?" I go, "Pitcher kamikaze." So Lynn went over and was talking to some girls or whatever, and he came back and goes, "How much do I owe you?" And he goes, $68. What the F? 68
Which is like 500 now.
Oh, yeah. That was
Hey, if Lenny's paying, go all in.
So since we got the elder statements, man, I'm gonna ask you guys. It's not very often you get two professional players on the same panel, right?
That's true.
What is the most expensive thing you bought when you got your first check?
So the first thing probably the most expensive thing I bought when I got my first check was probably my truck. I'm coming out of Ohio State. I didn't have anything. I was driving a little Nissan, right? So I bought a Chevy Trailblazer. I walked right into the place. I said, "Give me that truck right there." I didn't even have a contract. I said, let me roll out of here with the truck. I was on my way to Chicago.
I'm taking.
You're going to be a baller. You got to drive like a baller.
Now, what year was that?
That was 86.
Okay, 86.
How about you, Joe?
In '76, when I got my bonus check, I bought a used Volkswagen Super Beetle.
This guy's pounding beers.
I was pimping.
Oh, my God.
I was pimping.
Joe, I think the only thing that we've missed on you is how in the hell was a television series not created, and it was just called Super Joe, and it's just the life of Joe Charbonneau coming up through the minors.
They should do it now. I mean, that'd be a great reality show.
They could do it now.
Let's get a TV show.
Let's get on the show, Super Joe.
Back then, the censors wouldn't let me do
No,
it.
that's true. But now you can do anything. That'd be great.
I'm surprised the one story you didn't have.
Oh, tell me
in there
what I missed.
Well, one of my favorite is, for my 21st birthday, I was away playing, 76.
Okay.
So when I got back, my friends are like, "We're going to celebrate your birthday when you get back." And so we're at a bar across from this zoo we used to hang out, Happy Hollow Zoo in San Jose, California. They're like, "What do you want to do? You got to do something."
Yeah.
I go, "I'm going to get drunk, and we're breaking into the zoo, and I'm going to ride a rhinoceros."
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. That's amazing.
are you
That is
watching?
amazing.
So we got drunk. We climbed over Happy Hollow Zoo.
No, you didn't.
And
They're like the most
rode a
fierce animals on the planet.
You got on a rhinoceros?
yeah, the cage was like that high. They can't jump obviously. So I just climbed over. It was sleeping or whatever. I got on. I didn't realize they're as wide as this table.
They're big.
Whoa! It got up and it chased me around. I got out. They can't
You're lucky
see.
it didn't kill you.
They can't see.
Joe,
Oh yeah.
you really are. You're like this
Did you get
bigger-than-life
arrested?
guy.
Did you get arrested? Or you guys got away with it?
Nobody ever knew. We got out, went back to the
my
bar.
God.
See, today they'd have cameras in there.
Yeah,
Holy shit, that's Super Joe on that rhino.
So my buddies go, my 60. Oh shit! What I break?
Hey, listen, Joe, listen, don't worry about it.
Studio fault.
Joe, don't worry about it. You know why?
What I break?
We just added to your list of stories. It's all replaceable, brother. It's all replaceable.
Bye.
You're not going anywhere. Joe, you have a lifetime invitation. You are
Thanks,
welcome
you
in our
guys.
studio any day.
Yo, this is
Can
the
you
best
afford it?
It's all replaceable.
It's all good.
Yeah,
It's all replaceable, baby.
It was just
Nothing
it was a
important.
glass, like, decorative thing that was
Yeah,
holding
that was
up.
holding up the
It's
football,
nothing.
the helmet.
It's nothing.
Sounded like somebody dropped my glove. That's
Joe,
why it's a DH.
Joe, here's what I've just figured out about you. Everywhere you go,
Stuff breaks?
great stuff happens.
Yeah.
No. Listen, that's all replaceable.
Yeah.
What happened just now, you can't create that. It just organically happens.
This gonna blow the internet
God.
up. This gonna blow the internet
Joe,
all the way
Joe,
up.
you were my favorite player in 1980. You're still my favorite
Thanks,
player.
you guys.
A whole different player, but you're still my favorite player. You are absolutely
Oh, my
incredible.
God. We didn't even talk about the team.
No, I know. I wanted to get to.
That's next week.
Oh,
Next
about
time.
that.
Yeah, the next time you come in, we've got a lot
gotta
more
talk about
for
the
you.
team.
But I do want to ask you this. I know a couple of years ago you were the hitting coach at Notre Dame.
I still am with
Are you
Lenny.
still doing that? And
Yes.
Lenny's the pitching coach.
Lenny's the head coach and pitching
Wait,
coach.
Oh,
Joe,
that's
or head
phenomenal.
coach. He helps with
Here's the thing.
pitching.
I'm coaching a little league team. I got to get you and Lenny to come teach my kids.
I'd be
Have
happy.
you come for one practice?
I would be happy.
Would you really?
I'd like
Can you
doing that
imagine
a
that?
lot.
Would you do it?
Yes.
Look at this.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
More about to cry. You really gonna do that, dog? I love you, man.
Oh my God.
Hey, come here. Let me touch
is
you. Come
it.
here. Let me
I
grab
used
you.
to follow. Bo knows. I used to come. I saw you at Time Warp when
Yep,
you were
yep,
on.
yep.
I remember the
Another
first
bar.
place
Yeah.
was at it's over by Brook Park. I forgot the name.
yeah.
I saw you and Dustin.
Yes,
Stopped
right.
there.
Yes.
Joe, we have to let you go, but before we do,
Yes.
we love athletes that come from other parts of the country and then put their flag
I
in
love
Cleveland.
it. My grandkids
You
were born
stayed
here.
here.
My
Why?
daughter. I love it. Cleveland's a great place to raise a family.
Great place.
I think it's the Midwest is a great place.
It is.
Right. Well, we're so
And
glad
Bull
you
doesn't
stayed.
know this, but I lived in Lockport. I don't think I ever told
Lockport,
you.
New York?
You went to college right down the canal from
In Brockport, yes, yeah.
Gasport, Brockport. I was in
Yeah,
Lockport.
I didn't know. You never told me that.
5 years there.
Oh, wow.
I loved it. So
Did you play in the Penn League, by the way? I can't remember. Did you ever play in the New York Penn League?
I was there a week before they started. I got bumped up to
What
the
team was it?
Carolina.
What team were they at the
Auburn. Phillies were
The Auburn Double Days.
I
which
was
is the
only there a week.
Exact same field as in Batavia. The field's
Yes.
exactly. Did you ever play at Oneonta by any chance?
No, they kicked
biggest
me up
dump.
after a week.
Well, that's good.
I was lucky because that kick allowed me, I was still 20, to go up and start higher A at the Carolina League, Western
Okay, yeah,
Carolina
right.
League, which is a big boost in your career. If you can start a notch up. And I
Yes,
hit
100%.
I hit
Right.
300 that
development.
half year, so that helped a lot.
Joe, maybe my memory is wrong because it was over 40 years ago and I was 15. But in my memory, you hit a home run either in your first at bat with the Indians or your first game. Am I misremembering
First game,
that?
second at bat, Anaheim, then last at bat, home.
Okay.
Home
At the
opener.
bat. Okay.
So opener on the road, opener at home.
Do you remember who were the pitchers? Do you remember?
David Frost and
David Frost.
What
I
a
remember
memory.
him.
Was it Tom Buskey? Tom Buskey.
Tom
Wow,
Buskey.
what a
Yeah,
memory.
I think so. Yeah.
What a Joe.
Any
you made
Joe,
our-
you got to
made
come
our
back.
day.
You got
I
to come
will.
back.
You made our day.
Sorry.
Joe's the
The
man.
great Joe Charbonneau.
Flexing.
And now we have a story that
Thanks,
we can
you.
tell about
Oh,
the
my
great
I
God.
loved it. Thanks, you guys.
We're going to take a quick break. We've got much more to come on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. It will no way, shape, or form live up to what you just watched.
I need
Thanks,
all these
you
pictures.
guys.
Come on, Jason. We got to get the pictures.
Yeah, all those-
Hi, my name is Jay Crawford. I'm a lifelong Cleveland sports fan. My favorite all-time Cleveland sports moment, you're not going to believe this, it was Rajai Davis's home run in Game 7 that tied the score.
My favorite Cleveland sports moment would have to be the Kyrie Irving 2016 shot. It's the only time that I've ever cried over any sporting event.
My ultimate Cleveland memory is when the Cavs won the championship and the day of the parade. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had in my life.
We face challenges every day, some bigger than others, and we never know what's around the corner.
Through the highs and the lows, whatever we face it together. Each morning on Go, we are here with the facts, because what impacts you impacts all of us.
And understanding those facts helps us to make informed decisions for our families, our communities, and our future.
We are here for you every step of the way. Go, weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7 a.m.
What matters most to me is family. Sometimes you don't realize how important it is until you're away from them.
What matters most to Jay? His family. He is a big family man. What matters most to me? My family, my safety, your safety.
I think the thing that most impresses me about Betsy is her versatility. Give her any assignment that involves going in front of a television camera, and she's going to knock it out of the park.
What's new with Betsy and Jay? Weekdays at 5 on 3.
Hey, it's Adam the Bull for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, and I'll tell you what I think of when I think of Cleveland sports. It's that everybody loves it. I've been to other parts of the country, and there's people that love sports and people that don't care. But in Cleveland, everybody cares even a little bit from every walk of life, and that's what makes this city special. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, it doesn't matter. The people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio love their teams like nowhere else in the country. Hey, it's Adam the Bull for the ultimate Cleveland sports show, and I'll tell you what I think of when I think of Cleveland sports. It's that everybody loves it. I've been to other parts of the country, and there's people that love sports and people that don't care. But in Cleveland, everybody cares even a little bit from every walk of life, and that's what makes this city special. Whether it's football, baseball, or basketball, it doesn't matter. The people of Cleveland and Northeast Ohio love their teams like nowhere else in the country.
Seeing, knowing, and understanding Northeast Ohio is something we take very seriously.
Because in our connected world, what happens in one community can have an impact on others,
Leading to difficult challenges and opportunities for reflection and growth.
So, for in-depth analysis of how today's top stories affect you, your family, and our communities across Northeast Ohio,
Join us for 3 News at 6.
so you know what matters most.
When you watch Front Row, you never have to ask what's going on in Cleveland.
It is our job to get you up to speed on the latest news and events so you can enjoy all our city has to offer. We are bright, bold, and all about the action.
Whether you're a diehard Browns fan, waiting on breaking news, or searching for a special event for a weekend away.
Our hometown has it all. So join us. We're waiting for you. Front Row, weeknights at 7.
Cleveland sports to me is bigger than anything. It's bigger than some people's marriages. They say the Dallas Cowboys are America's team. No. Dallas is not America's team. Cleveland is America's team. And sports in Cleveland is a religion. It's a way of life. It doesn't matter where you're from. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter. Sports is a way for people in Cleveland to get together, and it's something that can't be replicated in Cleveland. Sports is a thing.
We've just been laughing the whole break.
I thought it was impossible for the legend of Joe Charbonneau to get any better.
Oh, my
God. Guys, he was just sitting where Jason was and busted the hell out of our set. Like, I don't even know how that happened. I think he leaned back in his chair and hit the...
Just lean back a little bit.
I mean, could he be a nicer guy, by the way? He can't be.
Jason, fact or fiction, you once... No, I'm just kidding.
Joe and I, if we were closer in age, we'd have had a lot of fun doing it.
I heard about Jason Lloyd.
Oh, yeah, he
that he's got his own legend.
Oh, yeah.
Kent. I've heard that from
Next Thursday,
a few
fact
people.
or fiction.
Yeah.
Jason Lloyd.
And then him, Joe Varden, and McMenamin, they got into a whole bunch of situations.
Joe Charbonneau and I had a lot of fun.
Oh, yeah.
I think we all would have had fun with Joe.
Jason would have had his hand in those greenies.
Why am I sitting here? Like, I can't top. Like, I got to take a golf club now and destroy the set.
Just stop beating yourself over the head with a golf club.
Jason, don't you dare.
Jason's got to pick up some TVs.
No,
He's
smacking hand sanitizer now.
I'm nuts.
Oh, my
I
God.
knocked a belt over last week and was horrified that I knocked over G's belt.
That was classic.
Quick show of hands. Was that the most fun segment we've done so far?
Without a doubt.
I say,
Without a
I mean,
that was. Do the kids still say off the chain? Because if they do, that was off the chain.
Well, no one says that. But
no one says off the chain.
Thank you.
They still say that.
Thank you for checking.
Brad's saying they say it. He knows better than you, Mike.
Whoa, off the chain?
They still say that.
The kids still saying off the chain.
I would tell you that.
That's like naming your son Esther or Rose or something.
Hold on, Brad.
G's saying we're old.
Brad wants the table.
No,
Sorry.
what you got there was really an old school professional athlete. That's the kind of stories I would hear coming up because they weren't making a lot of money.
The 70s were
Right, because
so
he's even a
nuts.
generation before you.
They were still under the radar.
People weren't
so to
making a lot of
speak.
money,
Yeah.
but the stories, right,
Were
of what
amazing.
they did and how they had to survive and things of this nature.
Because nobody was covering that stuff. It wasn't getting reported, so you could do whatever the hell you wanted.
What's
basically.
crazy is, so I was young in that era, so I heard some of those stories.
Yeah, right.
But who the hell wouldn't watch an HBO series where it's centered on the life of a 1979 or 80 major league player and the stories because the stories.
If you had a Hard Knocks version of that, it would be the greatest thing.
I mean, obviously, Hard Knocks would be live reality. That would never happen. But I just say do a drama.
Yeah, sure.
Where
they just did Winning Time, Jay.
Yes,
based on the
Winning
Showtime
Time on the
We need
Lakers.
whatever the Indians version of Super Joe and his teammates were.
I would watch a series called Super Joe, and it was just a doc on his life.
You'll never see that again.
No, we won't.
Because the athletes have got a different.
Jason, you've seen some crazy stuff. Is there like a story that you can tell without attaching names that you saw and you've said, I can't believe I just saw that happen?
They keep them so isolated from us now. I mean,
it's different.
Yeah, I mean, we hear things, but to see it, I mean, I've seen guys out in Vegas. You see some things at Summer League.
Yeah.
Sometimes on the road, you see.
Damn cell phones ruined everything.
They really did.
Nobody wants to do. Everybody's afraid.
We can talk about this forever, but we got to get to good bet, bad bet.
Yeah, we do because I think Bull had a good night, didn't you?
No, I think we all did well.
Let's pull the graphic up.
Okay.
You guys, G, J, and Bull all went 2-1 yesterday. Polk went 3-0.
This cat,
what is going on with him?
Look at me.
He has no idea what he's saying, but
me.
he is unbelievable.
Look at the Ohio State
On
guys.
fire.
Doing well.
Whatever he's doing, he's getting it right.
We got a cleaning crew coming in to get the glass, so we gotta run through this here.
Okay.
So,
cleaning up after Joe again.
Yeah.
Super Joe's former team, the Guardians, 1.5 run favorites tonight over the A's. Let's pull up the graphic here, Mike.
Wow.
Bull, you're the only one on the wrong side of
I'm riding him again.
Yeah, as much as I've been hot on the Guardians lately, I screwed that up. Here's what I don't like: the 1.5. I know the A's stink, but their pitcher Paul Blackburn, after 3 years of dealing with injuries, has been absolutely phenomenal. I think it's a low-scoring pitcher's duel. I could see the Guardians winning this by 1 run, so I'll take the A's with the 1.5.
A's have lost 9 in a row, and at one point last night, to show you the dysfunction that's going on with this franchise,
they're terrible.
They should be a AAA team at this point.
By the way,
they had to pull a pitcher because they made 2 mound visits in the same inning and didn't realize it.
Yeah. By the way, the Guardians should be looking to trade for the A's catcher. He's a good player, and he's under team control. And the Guardians catchers are both trash. No offense, they're both trash.
Wow,
So
that's harsh.
It is harsh. It's mean. I don't mean to be, but that's just how I talk, so I can't help it.
I thought Maley, he's been fine.
No, he's not a starter in the major leagues, though.
He's hitting fine.
Yeah, but that's because he plays once a week, and that's what he should be doing.
It's okay. He's getting opportunity.
I
He's making the
guarantee you,
most
if he
of
played
it.
every day, he'd bat $150. But
You guarantee that?
I guarantee it. Guarantee.
Okay. If he ever becomes a major league player, I'm coming to collect on that.
Collect.
Because you don't get a chance to hit $150 in this league unless you're the Guardian starting catcher.
Unless you're Austin Hedges.
Yeah, unless you're Austin Hedges.
All right, bet number 2. It is Game 4 of the NBA Finals tonight. Golden State 4-point underdogs on the road.
You're alone on
G.
this
Bush.
one.
Yeah.
You like the Warriors tonight,
They can win tonight. It's 2-2 going back to Bay Area.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Well, their medals
Warriors
be
are
tested.
done, man.
Yeah.
Steph Curry's not
You
100%.
can't, hold on. Stop it.
Yeah.
You cannot be serious.
Clay Thompson came out.
Have you ever been to the Garden? Look up. Just look up.
I see the Raptors.
It's a man who would know.
I sat in Chicago the other day watching this game, right? And they were like, "Oh, Steph Curry done took." I said, "Just wait."
You know, it'll be interesting if they lose. They'll be down 3-1.
The Garden, baby.
Sound familiar?
The Warriors
are finished.
Clay Thompson got off yesterday. I think he's back in the rotation. Steph Curry's going to
put
play.
some flex off 454 on.
Let me tell you
Steph's
something.
going to play. This thing
Has
goes
there ever been a
2-2.
superstar that has let you down in the finals more than Steph Curry?
Oh my God, they killed him yesterday on the air. They killed him yesterday.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. All right, last bet, a good bet.
If he's really a top 10 player, better score 40 tonight.
All right, last bet.
We'd
Jason
expect
Tatum,
LeBron
over
to do.
26.5 points. You all say good bet. So, Jason, are they smart or are they stupid?
I actually would have taken bad bet on this because he's only gone over 26 once in the series. I know they're at home. I'm actually with G. I think Golden State wins tonight.
Do you?
I do.
All right.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready to write the obituary.
Yeah,
on
I'm
the Warriors.
afraid to write the obituary for them because
I'm not ready to do it yet.
they're still the Warriors.
That's
and
exactly right.
I had to go.
They're not the Warriors. I don't think they
I
are.
had Boston in 6, right? So I had Boston in 6. I swear I did, right?
that could be.
And now the announcer is back. Bang!
Yeah,
Listen,
I know.
Now
So much
Steph
better.
Curry
Mike
is ready to
So
go.
much better.
Yeah.
It made a
The
big
dagger
difference.
threes is coming.
Mike Green's the man.
Yeah, he is so good at what he does.
All right.
All
there you go.
right. Speaking of that, we're going to do Ask the Show.
It's the show!
And this is Bull's idea. He brought it over from radio. And it's pretty
gonna sue
simple
him.
how it works. You guys submit questions. There are no sports questions allowed. And we go around the
politics
horn
either.
Who was it
and
brought
we
by?
answer.
Who was it brought by?
Our favorite airfoil company.
It is
That's who.
PCC Airfoils bringing us Ask the Show today. If you're looking for a job with career advancement and great benefits, PCC Airfoils is a leading manufacturer in Northeast Ohio, and all locations of PCC Airfoils at Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva are hiring for all positions starting at $18 an hour and up, plus get a full benefit package, paid time off, and a signing bonus. Apply online at precast.com/careers to learn more. So yesterday, we asked you guys to ask the show. Mike, let's pull up the question. No sports, no politics. Everything else is on the table. We're going to answer a few of them. You emailed us. You tweeted at us. Let's see the first one, Mike. Question numero uno. What's something you love that people wouldn't expect? We'll skip second part.
What's something you love that people wouldn't expect? Anybody?
I'll start
Go
there.
ahead.
When I tell people that I do this, they're like, "Wait, what?" I love to work with wood.
Yeah.
But something that I learned about 20 years ago was how to, from wood, using no power tools, carve duck decoys. And every time people learn
I don't know what that is. What is
so
a duck
duck decoy is a wooden duck.
Yeah.
And some of them are artistic. Some of them are just strictly for use.
Yeah.
But I've never duck hunted, but I got tipped off on this. But oddly enough, the first person I ever saw carving them was a black dude.
What? I was thinking that's a
And I'm
rich
like,
white
wait,
guy
what?
special right there.
There's actually a competition. I'll tell you why I'm doing it. Ready?
We wouldn't expect it. That's good.
No, people are like, wait,
Yeah.
what? So some of these duck decoys that win shows, and I actually won a blue ribbon in a show. I don't know how I had this talent. I didn't know. But some of them go for hundreds of thousands, and several have gone for millions.
You're the most interesting dude I ever met in my life, bro.
I know. People, when they say that, they go, wait, you did that? Because I'll show them the ducks. I've done a Canadian goose.
Oh, my God.
And
Bulls are a rich white guy special.
That's an RWG.
you know what? It used to be, so duck hunting used to be, duck hunting used to be the one of the country's most popular activities.
Yeah, that's true.
And it kind of became a lost art because they can create them now with machines.
Oh, my God.
And so it's kind of a throwback to the pioneer days when you would make things from wood by hand without power tools. Damn, dude.
That's actually a great question by this person. I think that's really good. I can't even think.
I can't wait to hear G-Bush's.
Do you have anything? I don't even have it. I share my life so much. I can't think of anything I do that people wouldn't expect.
Nothing?
Nothing's coming to me.
We just hit
A kind of music you might like that we would be surprised
Everybody
by.
knows I like Billy Joel.
Well, yeah, that we know you love
I
Billy
like
Joel.
classic rock. I mean, that's it. I don't really
And we
like
really do have a
anything
glass
else.
cleaner coming in at like 105.
Oh, sorry.
Okay,
We got to run through these.
Nobody else is going to answer this question?
Go ahead, Brad's going to
You
answer.
guys suck, man. I'm telling you.
Go ahead, Brad.
Whittling ducks out of wood.
Jay,
Brad.
No one's topping
I like
building
landscaping
ducks.
in my yard.
Landscape.
Oh, that's a good one.
I do it like
Landscape
Because I
nobody
do
else.
that too.
You come by my house, there's gonna be a flower special out front.
Listen,
buddy.
I keep
it's
saying-
gonna be tight, right?
I
My
email
people-
Augusta National every year.
I'll
and
say something I used to do because I can't
I'll
think of
give you
anything
one.
now.
All right.
When I was a teenager, I collected TV guides.
Dork. Okay.
Yes.
But
Yes.
I'm not
All right.
surprised to hear that.
Yes.
You love media.
I do.
No, Jay, that wasn't. I was just taken aback. I had never heard of that before, bro.
You've never heard of a duck decoy?
Not nobody handcrafting their ducks.
Gee, we got to move it along. You got
Okay.
You got an answer
yes,
or no?
yes, I do.
Handcrafting.
I do.
We got a conductor here.
I watch makeup tutorials on YouTube.
Oh yeah, we knew that,
He
but
told
most
us
people
about
wouldn't know
that.
that. Yeah.
So I watch makeup tutorials.
That's a good one.
And I do I do my wife's makeup, so it started. Yeah. Look.
That is why people would not have guessed that. I was stunned when I heard
It
this.
started off like I notoriously told my ex-wife, I was like, your eyebrows are C-. You have C-
This
eyebrows.
is way funnier than me crafting ducks.
So I would watch. And how I started off watching was like, they would be like men who dress up like women, like RuPaul.
Yeah.
And I started watching their tutorials because I'm like, how the heck do you transform yourself? I couldn't even tell that was a man.
Yeah.
But they have. So I started watching them, and I just went to my wife like, hey,
your makeup stinks.
By the way, we need to do a video of you putting makeup on Jay's wooden ducks.
Jason hasn't said a word yet.
Jason,
I'm just
nothing.
flabbergasted.
He'll answer the next question.
Yeah, there we go.
And this
You
is
got
actually
nothing
a
though
great
on this one?
question.
I know just enough about power tools to be dangerous.
Okay.
How about that?
All right, there it is.
I feel you on that.
Yeah.
Think of anything.
This next question is a great one for Jason and Brad on the set. We're going to skip the first part here. Jay, you could answer that
Yes,
quickly later. But
she is.
For the rest of you guys, who's the biggest name celebrity that you know personally, someone you could pick up your cell, call, and they would answer?
It's a good question.
I don't have LeBron's cell number. I tried getting it from him. He said he would follow me on Twitter so that I could have a direct line to him, and he never did. Probably, who's big? Kevin Love? Does that count?
That counts.
That-
Sure.
that's-
No,
yeah,
that
yeah.
absolutely counts.
Isaiah,
I don't know if he'd answer now. I wrote some
All right, so you gotta
What about
have 2,
MJ?
3.
I got here. MJ changed his number like underwear. So, but I got Pip, Isaiah Thomas, Clark Kellogg. Who else gonna think of off the rip real quick?
That's pretty good. I mean,
that's fire.
that's like 5-star,
Oakley,
5-star,
Harper, Jim
5-star.
Jackson. I mean, I gotta know.
Yeah.
I would say Ian Eagle and Kevin
Horace Grant.
Burkhart, I guess, for me. Are those big, no?
Byron Scott, but he never answers when I call.
Right.
How about former punter Sean Landetta? Does that count?
Not really.
I don't know, man. Like you gotta go. I gotta think. Like I'm regular. What you talking about? Who's yours? You got like 6.
I got to tell you, because I've
He's
been
got
in
everybody.
the game for 100 years,
Well,
I have so many numbers in my phone that when I see them as I'm going through, I'm like, oh, wow, I forgot I had the link to him. I forgot I had that. I forgot I had that.
Yeah, I understand.
So, but I don't kiss and tell. So.
well, all right. Listen, let me just tell his. He got Skip. He got.
No, I
Shannon
have Skip and
Sharp,
Stephen A.
he
I mean,
got
he worked with them. Of course he does.
Stephen A's the answer for
Yeah,
Jay.
yeah, there it is.
I'll answer
But,
for
I mean,
Jay.
like I'm thinking, so there's media superstar, and granted, both those guys are like making 8 to 10 million.
Yeah.
But to me, what really impresses me are the real high end, like Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Those are the guys that say, "Whoa, you got a link to that guy? Okay, that's legit."
All right, so I guess the most would be John Legend, but I think he changed his number though.
That would be a great one, though, G.
What?
I got Pat Shermer. Does that count?
No, that actually counts against you.
Yes.
All right, what's the next question? Do we have another one?
Oh, we got 2 more. Yep.
Okay.
All right, next question. If you had to revert back in technology, which one would you pick if forced? Only get news from the newspaper, only place calls from landlines, only listen to music on a Walkman, or have to use pay-per-view for new movies?
For me, it would be the Walkman. I don't care about music that much. I could live with a Walk. Is a Walkman that much different than what you got now? I guess you give less choices of what you can listen to. That would be my pick. I don't really care about music that much.
I mean, I grew up in the newspaper industry. It has to be newspapers for me.
Yeah.
I still love reading a newspaper, having it in my hand.
Yep, I'm the same way. Newspaper for me.
I guess no telephone. See, then that way you can weed out a lot of people. You got to actually be at home when I'm at home, and my mom not on the internet.
That's a good point. That's a good point. You could avoid calls
Yes,
that way.
you can find a person if you.
The old answer.
Have you lived your life without caller ID? Have you always had? Because back in the day, when the home phone rang, it was like playing roulette, bro.
You had no idea.
You're like, oh, damn, I don't know who
And when
this
we
is.
went out, like
it might be someone I want to talk to, but it might be someone I don't want to talk to.
And when I took the city bus at 9 years old to go to Kings Plaza, like my parents didn't know where the hell I was.
So
I could be anywhere.
So how old are your daughters?
Yeah.
26, 23, 22.
Okay.
And I mean 21 and 19.
So when you in this era, right, back in when I was coming up, what happened was you used to be talking to a girl. It'd be 8:30, right? Her mom got to get on the phone. My mom, somebody called, they click over. She's like, hey, call me back in 20 minutes. And you look at her with the death stare. Hey, listen, don't you play me. Because you know good and well if her pops answer the phone and hit you with, hello?
You're hanging up.
I'll tell her, but you do know it's a school night.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Do not hit me.
The game was so different back in the day, man.
God.
I'm not calling you. Hey, young man, after 9 was devastating. 9:12.
Yeah, do you know what time it is?
Time limits on calls. Picking up the phone on you. Hey, it's time to get off the phone.
Yeah.
Long
I forgot about that one.
Yeah.
You know I got to use the phone, right?
You've been on 45
Good
minutes.
question so far. You got one more?
Last one.
We got one more. And shout out to all the people for sending us questions in. We had a bunch. We'll get to some more next week. Keep sending them in. But I'm going to put you guys through the pressure transducer on this last one. Pull it up, Mike. If you had to drive in a race for your house and had to select one famous movie car as your vehicle, which one would you choose? Note, superhero or modified cars don't apply, so no Batmobile.
That's a great
Special
question,
James Bond.
Tino.
It is a great one.
That is a great question.
Shout out Tino Locker for that one.
This is easy.
Oh, I got one.
I got one.
What do you
I
got?
got one.
Man, you automatically got to go with the Mach 5, a.k.a. Speed
He
Racer.
said no super.
No,
Speed Racer ain't super. He's just a regular dude with a helmet.
No, Speed Racer was a superhero.
Oh, he was a superhero.
In my mind, he was.
And
So I tell you, I got one. I'm in the Starsky and Hutch joint.
Oh, yeah.
Great choice.
Sweet,
yes.
Okay.
The sweet little white
Listen,
stripe over the hood or the top.
Let me tell you about this real quick. I wanted to go to the junkyard and buy a Gran Torino. I said, this is when I was a high school kid. I can take this to Earl Scheib.
I can tape that off and paint the white.
I'm going to give this one, I'll revamp. I'm going to go to Hazard County, Kentucky, and give me the Dukes of Hazzard.
General Lee.
Hazard County, Georgia.
General Lee.
Hazard County, Georgia.
Yeah.
The General Lee. Because that car could jump and go 30 feet and still keep going when it
With that
lands.
flag on top?
No, we're going to have to revamp the
Yeah,
flag.
you can definitely repaint that scheme. Yeah,
Jay, what's your car?
That Confederate flag is not going to work for a car G. Bush is driving.
I'm taking Ricky Bobby's car from.
Ricky Bobby. Yeah, that's a good one.
I got Kit from Knight Rider.
Oh,
the car that talks.
That does not count.
Kid himself is a superhero. Just the car, not Michael Knight.
All right, then I'll take one of the cars from the Fast and
That's
Furious
what I was going to say. I'm not a car guy. I was just give me one of the Fast and Furious.
All right, so you.
Man, that Gran Torino was that thing.
Yeah.
Starsky,
So I'm going to date myself here, but I'm going just because on the cool factor alone, and because this car won a race that went coast to coast. Give me Burt Reynolds,
Yeah.
Smokey and the Bandit, 79 Trans Am black with the gold trim. That's my
Cannonball
car.
Run.
And the T-tops.
That was tight.
That was the car.
That was tight.
So I'm getting cool points if nothing else.
That was tight. I got to give you that. That was tight.
That's chilly.
Yeah. I'm old that way. I remember that.
Was it Sally Field that was
Sally
his
Field
girlfriend?
was the
Yeah.
romantic,
Man,
and then they had a real life relationship that went sour. And Bert kind of went off the rails after it went sour.
She's in the Lakers show.
Man,
she is.
Yeah. That Trans Am, I remember when this girl pulled up in Mooresville High School. Yolanda Black, man.
Yolanda Black.
With this gold.
If you're
Trans
watching,
Am,
reach out to us.
You sound like you was fine back in the day.
With the T-top, it was just smoker.
Yeah, you got to have the T's.
By the way, real quick, while we're talking old TV shows, it has nothing to do with a car, but it made me think of the show The White Shadow. Do you guys remember
Oh,
that
I love that show. That show was great.
It was only on for like 3 years, but it was the best.
It was a great show. You can get it. I'm not sure where
There's
I saw it.
reruns on like TV
I
Land
saw
or
it not
something
long
like
ago,
that.
and I'm like, oh my God, that show was fantastic.
Yeah.
All right.
Yep.
That's
All
it.
right.
That's the show.
Are we clear?
So I told Jason if he was coming in and he was going to stick around after Super Joe, he has to do a final take.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jason has to do a final take.
I'd like to do mine also,
And
but let
Bull-
Jason go first.
Okay.
Yeah, Bull has one too, so we'll let
Yeah.
those two go. Then we'll say goodbye and have a great weekend.
All right, here's my final take. Cell phone companies are crooks.
Ain't that
And something needs to be done regulation-wise. The prices that we pay for these things, it's outrageous, and they don't work half the time. For the last 3 or 4 days, my phone has been jacked up to where if you are not on my plan, I can't get your call, and it goes straight to voicemail. Am I allowed to say?
What you on Cricket, my man?
No, I'm not.
And in your business, that's terrible.
That's devastating. Yeah.
Where you at? Boost
So
Mobile, where you at?
I hate
Boost
cell phone
Mobile.
companies. My cell phone bill is over $400 a month with everything.
my God.
Because we have all.
What's you say?
My bill's over $400 a month because of all the phones we have and the watches and the iPads and all these different things.
Yeah.
It's criminal.
It creeps up there, man.
Something needs done.
They can't
Congress
even regulate
needs to
guns.
investigate.
They're not going to regulate cell phones.
Regulate the cell phones. Do something about these
Yeah, I'm
prices.
with you, man.
Or at
First
least,
of all-
at least refund me when it doesn't work half
Yeah,
the time.
that's true.
I knew the game was changed forever when they ask you when you buy it, would you like to do this in installments?
Right.
You used to get the phone for free.
You used to.
Yeah, now you got to pay $1,000.
Now it's like
for
it's
the phone.
$1,800. You can pay for it all up front, or if you want, we can just roll in $100
in,
on your
yep.
bill every month.
Yeah.
What you getting? 256 megs? What
If you go the 516,
Oh,
Yeah.
the big one.
I still
All right, guys. I want to talk this. I got to tell you, since I moved to Cleveland, August 18th of 2011, I have enjoyed my time here, right? And I'll be totally honest. When I had decided this winter that I was going to leave the radio station, I was seriously considering moving. And it's not because I don't like Cleveland, because I love Cleveland. My son was born here, and I like everything about it. The only thing I don't like is the weather in the winter, which is the same in New York and Pittsburgh and whatever, most of the northern part of the country, right? So I thought when I was going to leave the fan, I was thinking about moving to Florida or to Arizona or something, whatever. And when this opportunity came up, I decided to stay. And I'm really glad I did because I love what I'm doing here. But in addition to that, my son joined Little League. Now, my son has played baseball, through our rec center, which was not very well organized. I shouldn't say that. It's well organized, but it's not as serious as Little League. And as he's joined the Little League this year, it's made my decision to stay in Northeast Ohio even better. I've never felt more a part of the community where I live in Rocky River, and it's got its flaws, just like any other community. But overall, I have enjoyed my time in doing the Little League and getting to meet so many kids and parents. I feel like I'm making a lot of friends. And I have friends that I work with, but I have to be honest, it's hard to make friends outside of work when you're in your 40s and 50s, especially in Northeast Ohio, even though people are friendly. But everybody, so many people that live here are from here, so they have all their friends ingrained, and it's a little harder to make friends. And I have a few, but I'm making a lot of friends now. And I'm really enjoying being part of the Little League community and the community. It's meant a lot to me and my wife and my son. It's been great. This week has been a particularly exhausting week because as the manager of my Little League team, every team is responsible 1 week for running the Little League. We get the fields ready, and this week there was a lot of rain. We're in charge of the concession stand, the PA announcing at the games, the scoring, and all of that. Well, last night, I usually give other people a chance because it's fun for them to do PA. For me, I've done it a million times, and obviously I talk for a living. So usually I avoid it, but they needed me to do the PA for one of the games yesterday. And here was a moment from the game, a rare, big hit. Here you go.
Gone. Nice.
A two-run bomb to left field. How about that? So I wasn't really doing play-by-play, but the kid, his last name is Atwater. Of course, I can't think of the kid's first name right now. I'm drawing a blank on it. But his dad I know his last name is Atwater. His dad's one of the coaches at Rocky River High School, one of the football coaches. And the kid's hit 2 home runs over the fence. There's only been 3 total home runs in all of the league over the fence, and this kid's hit 2 of them. It was a bomb to left field. But I just played that because his dad put it out on a tweet, and I've had so much fun doing the Little League. But Rocky River Little League and all the other Little Leagues out there need your help. And we also need to get Little League in other communities. Baseball has done a bad job in the cities, and we need to have kids and we need to, in Cleveland, we don't have enough. We need more people out there. We need money, people to donate. We need rich people to help out because kids learn a lot of great lessons from baseball. I know this is a football crazy town, but I think there's some great lessons you learn playing baseball. I tell my kids on my team every day, I know football is more popular than basketball. Baseball is the hardest sport to play. You succeed 3 out of 10 times as a hitter, you're great. In football, basketball, you stink if you do 3 out of 10. Baseball is the hardest sport to play. It teaches kids mental toughness. There's so many great things, and we need to encourage kids to play baseball. We need to support them financially, especially in the poorer communities, to give kids opportunity to play baseball, to help provide them with equipment and stuff like that as well. So please, whatever you can, donate to your local Little League. Take an initiative to help a Little League in town. I don't know who I need to talk to. I was thinking about last night wanting to start doing some charity work to raise money for Little Leagues. I don't even know where to begin, but I guess I'll start the process somewhere. And I've rambled on long here. I apologize, but it just means so much. It's been such a great experience for me and my family and for all these kids, and I think it's really important in all these communities, city or small town or suburb like me, to have this opportunity and this community togetherness that's really special.
I didn't know you were going to go there. I had no idea, but I love that. I'm currently working with a former major leaguer who's trying to get a really big project done in the city of Cleveland that would bring diamonds to the inner city.
We need it.
And that would also make it easier for inner city children to break down that barrier of entry to learn how to play baseball.
We got to have coaches.
I'm keeping my fingers crossed. We're going to try to do some things with Mayor
That's
Bibb.
awesome.
I'm very hopeful that this project
I'd like to get
done.
involved too.
Yeah, we'll talk later about that. My hope is that this gets done because we've talked on this show several times the percentage of Major League Baseball players, black Major League Baseball players, has gone down each year for a number of years, and I think it's been since the 60s that they've been as low as they are right now.
Yeah.
And that's because it has something to do with football and basketball, but also you got to have the fields and you got to have the organization.
Yes.
Because baseball is not a
100%.
game that you can get 4 kids up and play a game like
It's
you can
hard
basketball.
to do that. Yes.
Yeah.
And
Couple of shout outs. First of all, can you swing your camera, Mike McNuggets, to Director Mike?
Yeah,
Can you
Director
do that?
Mike's got to lean this way. He's got.
So
let's see
all right,
his talents.
We're
All right,
asking him
Director
to
Mike, get in
leave
here,
his
buddy.
panel. So that's like a pilot letting go of the machine.
Yeah.
So Mike is a director here at Channel 3, and I will tell you that the equipment that's used to do this show, Mike, you're a handsome man with a beard. I like that. And I'm perfectly content with saying that.
Yeah.
He is a terrific director here at Channel 3. He sat in for Steve, our normal director, who
No
is
flaws at all.
He's taking a trip to Denver this weekend. So,
nothing.
Mike, well done. Tremendous
No
job.
mistakes.
Tremendous job. A couple of other shout-outs. Jason Lloyd for always bringing your wealth of knowledge and information to that middle seat. We're sorry that you look so much shorter than Brad.
We got to do something.
We are
about
going
that.
to get you a high chair.
I'm going to break something next time I'm here. I'm telling you now.
And the biggest thank you of all goes to Super Joe Charbonneau. I think we can all agree that was not just a memorable segment. I think it was one of the most enjoyable that we've been a part of so far.
That was
and
incredible.
who else can we say has come in here and wrecked shop?
Right.
And we were okay with it. It was awesome. So Super Joe, thanks for being you.
We are
wish
17 subscribers away, by the way. 17 subscribers. If we don't have 7,000 by Monday, we're not having Tim or Mary Kay on. So y'all better subscribe.
I have a good feeling we will. And
Come on, let's go.
that
17 more
and the
people.
The 7,000
7,000
actually is going to get a free magic show from Bull at their home for a birthday party.
And to be truthful, most of our views come from non-subscribers.
Yeah, that surprised me.
Most of our views. So if you are watching, you enjoy the content, please
Subscribe. This way you know when things are coming
Yeah.
out. When we have bonus content, we're talking about doing some extra things. We're not going to get
Not
going
going to throw it out there yet, but there is a lot of discussion about expanding the Ultimate Cleveland Sports
And I
Show.
will have an announcement next
And
week on something too.
Yes, a big announcement.
Yeah.
All right, that's it. We're out of time. Have a great weekend. Enjoy yourself. Do something that makes you laugh and smile so your life is a little bit better. We're back here on Monday for the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. Tim Couch is going to be on the show. Mary Kay Cabot will be here. Should be a great show on Monday. Have a great weekend. Thanks for joining us. We will see you on Monday.